Welcome to Penguin Live, where we have the absolute best magicians come in, show you the absolute best magic, and then teach you exactly how to do it. Wherever you're watching from in the world, welcome. I'm your host, Dan Harlan. Thank you so much for supporting Live Magic. As you can hear, we have a full house here in the studio. And the reason is because we have a guy with us who is very, very funny. He does quirky comedy magic that is amazing and sometimes disgusting. Usually both, which is awesome. You may have seen some of his DVDs, and in particular the Geek Magic DVDs, because he's got an influence from the world of the sideshow geeks, but he shows you ways to do things that aren't actually dangerous or really disgusting, but they'll still gross you out anyway. It's going to be awesome. Now, the other reason you might know him is from the very popular release that he did, the Cardiologist deck. He is going to do that tonight. He is going to show you how you can make your own, so you have already made back the price of admission. Just being here to learn that. It's awesome. Yeah, now, there's going to be an incredible amount of magic, a lot of variety of things. You're going to be absolutely amazed at how much magic fits into this little package of person that you're about to meet. Do not try to adjust your computer. It's going to look like he's standing further away. He's actually just a little smaller than most people. He knows that, and he's okay with that. It's just, what's he going to do, right? So please join me in welcoming professional magician and part-time handsome person, Tomas Medina. Look at him. He's so cute. You're so adorable.
I was working harder than an ugly stripper on that trick. When I say toe, you say mas. Toe?
Mas.
Toe?
Mas.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tomas. I kind of have a long name. I'm Tomas Donzuelos San Miguel de Agosto Martinez Garcia, Pamplona Izquierda Derecha, Pamplona Medina. But for short, people call me T. And that's my name. My father is Hispanic, and my mom is Rick Moranis. Has been my therapy for many years, looking like the dork from Ghostbusters, and my birth control. Okay, firstly, I'd like to point out, and secondly, I would like to say this. You ready? This. Thirdly, I'd like to say a few small words. Of, at, to, no, it, I, me. Or fourthly, I like to look at it this way. Fifthly, I'd like to tell you guys a joke. Hey, why did the chicken cross the road? He was free range. It was a free. Is this like a Kroger crowd? Because that usually kills with the Whole Foods people. And then lastly, I'd like to show you a trick. You ready for some magic?
Yeah!
Can I dedicate this trick? I'd like to dedicate this trick to all my friends out there from Penguin Magic and all my babies' mamas. Here we go. Put a little twist on the rope. Everybody say, presto, presto. The ends come off the rope, and then now I've got a rope with no ends. People say, hey, toe to the moss. I know where the ends are. They're over here. Now, despite the horrendous pun, watch the ends. They go on the loop, and now with the face of an angel, the hands of a god, and the heart of a rat. There you go. Thanks, you guys. Heart you. Did you ever see the one where the guy takes scissors, he cuts the rope, and then he puts it back together? Have you ever seen that trick?
Yes.
That trick is so late August of 98, 99, or the 000. I don't have any scissors on me, but I can improvise. Now, it looks like I have one, but if I untie them, you could really see that I did cut them. I've got two. Friends, let's break into discussion groups. How should I fix them, the easy way or the hard way? What do you think? You guys? Okay, easy way, fine. You just tie them back together. The hard way kind of involves the easy way because you tie them back together, but it involves a little bit of magic, so all I got to do is pause for the cause. Can I dedicate this next one? I'd like to dedicate this one to all the sucker perpetrators living in the 330. Is that the Ohio area code? I don't know. Is it? Was I right? Okay, watch the middle, watch the ends. They're going to do the old 1-2 switcheroo. This one goes across the hollow core, goes over to here. Now the next one, due to lack of technical variety, happens the same way. Now every once in a while, people think that the amazing Tomas is using fake, phony, magic rope that you can get like at a magic novelty manufacturing company like Fun Incorporated at 333 Alice Street in Wheeling, Illinois. But no, this happens to be real rope. Hey, you guys, can I show you my skills portion of the show? All right. See, I always had problems tying knots. I could never, ever, ever tie a knot. You know, when you tie a knot, it goes through the loop. But as you can see, my difficulties always be technical. I'd even try to give it one of these crazy, mega, colossal, hyper deluxe knots, but those wouldn't stick either. But I found that I was pretty good for a kid with glasses at doing a one-handed knot. So here we go, friends. This is where we separate the Siegfrieds from the Roys. My one-handed knot. And it's on! Like Goldie. Oh. Like Donkey. Kong. Like Chi-Chan. Chong. Not a deer, but a... Fawn. Nice. I'm in it to win it. I'm on it like... Vomit. Nobody ever gets that one. All right, here we go. Oh, can I get a drum roll, you guys, for this? Here we go, my one-handed knot. Here we go. Woo! A lot of people asked me to do that trick twice, so I'll save you guys the trouble of asking. Let me do it again. Give me another drum roll here. I'd like to dedicate this one-handed knot to the troops. Here you go, the one-handed knot. And you don't mess with the best, you don't fool with the cool. When you see me come, better step aside. A lot of people didn't, a lot of people died. So we having fun? Are we having fun? Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am Tomas. My father, I told you about him being Hispanic. My mom's Rick Moranis. I'm the author of the Bible and many of Shakespeare's plays. I possess amazing telekinetic powers and X-ray vision, which I've sworn only to use for the goodness of humanity. Sometimes I make small buildings crumble, and then I comb the wreckage for free office supplies. I'm currently ghostwriting my own memoirs entitled Tomas the Man's Man, but I like women a lot more. I have hobbies. I like to write part twos to songs. Like I'm currently writing a part two to Bust a Move. It's called Bust an Additional Move. I'm writing a part two to Whoomp There It Is. It's called Whoomp There It Continues to Be. The day the lights went back on in Georgia. Won't you give me a ride back home from Funky Town? 867-5309 extension 2. How are we going to get all the dogs back in? And my favorite is now, come on now, seriously, now, come on now, Eileen. These are all part twos that I'm writing. But you know what I totally heart? You guys, you got to say what? You know what I totally star? Do you know what I totally happy face? Do you know what I think is the bomb.com? Card tricks. I love them. Love card tricks. By law, when you do magic, you have to do a card trick. Also, by law, you got to roll up the sleeves on my Salvation Armani jacket. Those of you taking notes, write that one down. Salvation Armani. All right, here we go. Whoa. Smoke bomb. All right. I have a deck of cards here. I'm going to shuffle the deck. Hi there. What's your name, sir? Jacob. Jacob, that's absolutely correct. Jacob, how many times should I shuffle the deck? Once, twice, 3 times? One time? All right. Okay, I'm going to go right here by the table. Are you sure you don't want more? Just say another one. Just say another one. Okay, only because you asked, though. Okay, look. They're all mixed up there. You know what's amazing is that I could do all these card tricks, but I only have 4 fingers on my hand. I don't know if that's... Did you notice that? It's just... JK. Or for my Latino friends, Jotaka. Jotaka, that's Spanish for... I like to keep my show entertaining and educational. Did you know that if you line up every smoker head to toe around the world, that 67% would be drowning? Did you know this? Fun fact. You know where the world's largest street is, or the longest street? Do you know where that is? It's where I'm from. It's from Chicago. It's called Western Avenue, and it's 23.5 miles long. Thank you for the fabricated enthusiasm. And then here's another one. You know, in Chicago, we have the Lincoln Park Zoo. That is one of the only 2 free zoos in the world. They've got like 3 birds and a squirrel, but, you know, it's free. I was there, I asked the zookeeper, I was like, what type of an animal is that? The guy was like, that's not ours. I don't know whose that is. The gorilla is like a hairy Italian guy with a pager. What is your name was? Jacob. Good memory. Okay, Jacob, can you help me out? Can you come on over this way? Everybody clap for Jacob. Jacob, can you stand over here? I'm going to teach you this handshake that I'm trying to popularize here in Ohio. We do one of these. Okay, now we lock it. We miss the spocket. And then we put it in our pocket, hey! Stand over this way, Jacob. Jacob, cut the cards, please. All right, let's see. We got a 5. All right. Have you ever heard this before? I don't know. Pick a card. Go ahead, take one out, Jacob. Okay, what did you get? You could show it to everybody. I've seen the trick.
5.
Okay, good, a 5. Hey, look, that's how tall I am. I'm 5'5". Dan. But you know, on the tall girls, I have to go up on them. Can I say those jokes here? Probably not. All right. The 14-year-olds over here. Ears. How old are you? Older? 14? Okay, give him another. What did you say?
Had a lot of Wheaties.
You had a lot of Wheaties? I thought you said Wendy's, because he works for Wendy's. Okay. What do we got here? We got a king, right? Okay, I'm going to put some cards down on the table. Whenever you want, you go ahead and say stop.
Stop.
Look, it's king, see? And he's spayed, neutered, fixed. It's a veterinary term. So look, you cut to a 5, you found the 5 of hearts, and then you cut to a king, and then you got a king. This could be a trick.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, do you know who I hate?
Who?
People that impersonate owls. Because that's what owls say. But what does the fox say? Okay, just say stop.
Stop.
Okay, you stop me here. That is a 3. A 3, okay? And then, I got to show this to you. Watch this. Remember the one-handed knot that I did?
Yeah.
That was a highlight in the program. This is, what? Okay, get a close-up on this one. Ready?
Woo.
Woo. I slice like a ninja, cut like a razor blade. Okay, just say stop.
Stop.
Okay, stop me here. That's a queen of diamonds. All right. Let's see if I can do this here. There we go. Queen of diamonds is going to do 15 somersaults. It's going to jump in the air. It's going to land in the deck next to its friend, the longtime companion, the queen of hearts. And the applause will be deafening. Sometimes people throw money after I do this trick. Every once in a while, the ladies throw undergarments. Making a quilt. I came this close to messing up on that one. Okay, let's see where we got. Okay, turn that over. There you go! Smoke bomb. Ninja star. All right. Can you go ahead and shuffle the cards like this, okay? Just like normal people do, because I gave it to a kid over there, and he did one of these triple galooly full twists with a half gainer. I don't know what he did. Just shuffle it the way normal people do, please. Thanks.
Right.
While you do that, I'll tell a joke. Hey, I used to be homeless, but I didn't want anybody to know, so I slept in front of Ticketmasters. See, I told you this side of the room because these kids probably don't understand. See, back before the internet, you had to really try hard to get tickets for your concerts that you would go to. So people would sleep in front, like, the Apple, let's relate. The Apple store, when the new Apple product comes out and they sleep, maybe I should change the joke to say Apple store. They sleep outside in front of the stores, in front of Ticketmaster to get the, you don't care. All right. Well, let's see how well you did. Oh, wow, these cards are pretty mixed up here. Yep, so mixed up they may need some therapy. Okay, let's see what we got. We got a 10. Got a 10. We got a 10. We got a 10. We got all the 10s together, right? We've got the 4 4s. That's what the ballerinas wear if, they're heavy set. It's okay, because when I'm at a bar with some friends, I walk in, I say, I'll take the fat one, you take the really fat one. Are people going to go on the Magic Cafe and whine like babies because Tomas made fun of fat people?
I hope so.
Okay, Jack. And they say that I don't know Jack. Over here I've got the 8s, and I just 8. That's crazy. I've got the 6s. Over here I've got the aces. I've got the 2 2s. I've got the 7s. I've got the 5 5s. I've got the kings. I've got the 8s. I've got the 6. I got all the... This is fairly impressive, although sometimes I seem to be the only one who thinks so. Hey, look, it's my favorite... It's my favorite band, the Jackson 5. Okay, there's the queens. We've got the 7s. You did a good job, Jacob. You got the aces. You got the 3. I always want to get tattooed on my arm 333 so I could tell all the ladies that I'm half evil. I've got the 9. 9, 9. 9, that's German for no. 9, 9. I've got the 4s. I've got the 9s. I've got all the applause for you. Yeah, Jacob! There you go. Okay, so I guess that's the first set. I'm going to explain how to do these tricks. Did you guys like that? That's like a typical... Years ago, when I was a little guy, which I'm still a little guy, but when I was younger, I always dreamt of being a magician. I never really knew that you could be one. I would go and loiter at a magic store, and the nice gentleman who owned the magic store one day offered me a job, and I worked there, and I worked restaurants, and I went to college, and I didn't want to, I just didn't want to, other kids were like, I don't know, they were working as waiters and stuff, and I didn't want that. I didn't really want to work. I didn't want to have a job. So I decided to work at a magic store because it was fun, and I would do these shows on the side. And then I went into my major. I wanted to go on the radio. I wanted to be a broadcaster. I wanted to be like, Caller 5 gets a coffee mug and a T-shirt. I want to hit you another deep cut, one of those things. 9 o'clock rock block. I wanted to do all that stuff. And then I got hired as a manager at a small radio station in Chicago. In fact, it was you ever see the movie UHF? Did you ever see that movie? Okay, it was kind of like that. I walked in, and it was like an apartment complex, and then this guy was sitting there. They had no heat, so it was like wintertime, and he had his jacket on. And I was like, yeah, I'm here for an internship. And the guy was like, oh, well, okay. And then the owner comes in, and he looked like he had ties to the mob or something. He's like, hey, kid, you want to work here? And I was like, well, yeah, I just want an internship. And he goes, you see that guy over there? And there's a guy, he's like freezing cold. He's like, I'm going to fire his ass. He goes, you want to be the manager of this station? And I'm like, well, I kind of just want an internship. And then he's like, nah, it's easy. Just hit buttons. So that's what I did. I even graded myself. Like I was my own, I did the internship and I gave myself an A, of course. And then I worked there for a year. And I also worked on the side at the magic store because I couldn't let that go. But I was making, get this, I went to college. I fell for this get-rich-quick scam called college. and I was making $5.25 an hour. And I had a debilitating card trick habit, and I had to, I just couldn't buy anything. So I just I gathered my chutzpah together, and I told my parents, I said, I'm going to be a magician. And that's where I am today. So it's all through luck. I never really tried. I just wanted to kill some time until I had to go find another job. But I did it all. It all fell in my lap. That's just my secret, just not trying. I would just work at the store, and people would call, and I don't even have a website. Today I brought in compact discs for my music, and they're like, what? And I'm like, don't you have an MP3? And I'm like, what's an MP3 player? So I don't really try. I'm very grateful for everyone that I've met in my magic career, and I never thought that people would actually care to want to see me lecture. I get emails on Facebook from. I get a lot of emails from like hot singles in my area that want to meet me, and I think it's probably because of all those iPads I've won. But I also get every once in a while like emails from like stranger danger kids who. Can I tell you before I get on to the explanation? I got to tell you my penguin magic story. So I'm on the internet, so I'm on Facebook, and all of a sudden, bloop, and then like this kid, he's like, hey, Tomas. Oh my gosh, he probably didn't buy this. But he's like, Tomas, I'm a big fan of yours. I was wondering if you can give me your Geek Magic DVD for free. I have no money and I'm going to school. And I'm like, well, that's really nice that he actually contacted me because you could just rip that thing off. One night, I was on the torrent site, and at that one day, 250 people in the world were watching my Geek Magic DVD illegally, and I was like, that's awesome! And then I was like, that sucks! So anyway, so this kid actually he was nice enough to ask me for it, and I said, look, kid, I work for this company, Fun Incorporated, and I don't really own the DVD. I have to buy the DVD, so I will buy it, and I'll even pay for shipping. And it just pay costs, whatever it cost me, so that you don't pay full price. And the kid's like, sorry, and he responds to me, he's like, sorry, I'm that poor, I don't have that money. Sent from my iPhone. I don't even have an iPhone. So then later, I got really upset, and I was like, what do you have an, and I go, as a friendly suggestion, you may want to just cut the iPhone, then you'll save some money, because that's extra money. And he just didn't really get it, and he's like, and then one day he just, and he goes, hey, do you have the so-and-so lecture and the so-and-so lecture? And I was like, no, is this on DVD? He goes, no, from Penguin. I was wondering if you have that. And I go, oh, Penguin has lectures. He's like, yeah, do you have that? And I was like, no, I don't. He's like, oh, well, because I was looking to trade. And I was like, trade? What do you mean? You mean get it for free, kid? And then my wife, she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, this punk 15-year-old trying to get free stuff. And then you're arguing with a 15-year-old on Facebook. And I'm like, yeah. Let me teach my magic tricks now that I'm all... Okay, so first trick. First trick is with a trick of the balloon. Okay? Just swallow the balloon. There's a hole in it. All right, next trick.
Yeah.
I got to get my stuff. Dan, tell a joke. Okay, I got my stuff.
All right.
All right, I've got this. Okay, and then what you do, Dan, can I borrow your I Heart Cartoon button?
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
Sure.
Okay, so you get yourself a 260Q. Now, I put this on my Geek Magic release back in the 03. Thanks, sir.
There you go.
Awesome. Okay, so here's what you do. Okay, you get yourself the name brand. Okay, all the balloon twister dorks in the world, oh my gosh, they're going to go in the Magic Cafe and just say, he called us dorks. Listen, I'm just kidding. So anyway, they're going to get the balloons, right? You get the Qualitex. They really are the best. I've tried with all different types of brands. I was in a hurry. I went to Walgreens, and they had this other brand that I used, and those are just awful. And so what you do is you just get yourself the Qualitex, and then you get yourself a pin. Now, you got to experiment with the pin size. I think this is the one that I already put a hole in. Anyway, what you do is you put the pin in the neck. You might want to get a close-up of this. By the way, I heart, it says I watch cartoons. Because Dan made the cartoon. Clap for Dan, making one of the best tricks. All right. So what you do is we put the pin in the neck of the balloon, right? And then you just make one little hole. Okay? Just a teeny tiny hole. Now, I've experimented with pins. This may not work. This may not work. But you go again to the Walgreens, which is like the greatest, because they got everything there. Although, you know what? I'm going to do it. Well, never mind. I'll tell you that later. Anyway, so you just poke a hole in there. Walgreens has safety pins that you can buy for like $2, and they got all different sizes, so you can experiment on those. I highly suggest going and buying that selection because I've used those pins and they always work. And what you're going to do is you just blow up the balloon. This is the actual skills part of the trick. And it's tough with my iron lung, but I could still do it. So what you do is you just blow up the balloon. Okay, now there should be a hole in here. And you let some of the air out, just a little bit. And then you can tie a knot. Now here's more of the real work on this trick, is if you're doing, like, let's say a lecture for Penguin Magic, you have them turn off your mic because then they'll hear the air seep out of the balloon. Okay. Another thing that happens, and also the air is going out at a very small amount, so don't worry. You can hold on to it. You can do a chimp flip in a ring of fire, and you'll still have this thing blown up. Another thing is if you use the color yellow. One time I was doing a show, and what's going to happen is your tongue is going to push into the bottom of the balloon, and if you're not covering your tongue, if you're not covering your tongue, you can see right through that balloon, and people will see what's going on. They'll see that, hey, what's that guy doing with the tongue, letting all the balloon out of the air out of the balloon? So, so you just have. I'm going to put it in my mouth. I'm going to show you, and I'm not going to be able to talk. Oh, by the way, hold on. That was from the performance. So that's what it turns out in this little orange ball. Actually, that wasn't from the performance. What is that? Okay. So, yeah, go ahead. Okay, so that's your tongue is pushing the balloon so that it lets out all the air, and you go at a gradual pace. And if you want, if you want to be funny, you can pop them on purpose. Now you're probably saying, Tomas, you're a professional. How come you pop so many balloons during your performance? It happens. It happens. I've also noticed that if you leave them in your car and it's really hot out, it'll pop. Or if you leave them in your car when it's really cold. Did you just take a Facebook picture? Oh, yeah. Okay. So anyway, so then you, if it's too cold or too hot, it'll affect the balloon and they'll pop. But hey, anyway, so you just keep pushing. You see what's going on, you guys? Yes, mister, we see what's going on. So you just basically pushing the thing inside the balloon. It takes a little bit of practice, but practice in the mirror. It looks kind of weird though if someone walks in on you. Okay, so then you push. And there's so many jokes you can say after you swallow the balloon. A nice PG joke. I know a lot of R-rated ones. But if you want to Facebook me for the R-rated ones, we could do that one. But you can say like, oh, it's a whole different trick the next morning or whatever. But I always do this to music. I used to keep my music a secret, like I would never tell people, because I think that's a lot of it is like keeping a secret, whatever the song is, But that's not anymore, because all you do is you pick up your phone and you do one of, and then they've got that app that tells you what music you play, and you're like, how'd you? Internet. So anyway, so that's basically it. Any questions? Any comments, suggestions, complaints? Was that thorough? I think it was. Oh, that's a good question. Well, what I do is I just basically keep it in, and I have God-given puffy cheeks, and also I could do this. Is this weird? I don't know if this is this strange? I don't even. Is that even normal? So you take the balloon and you just put it inside your cheek. And that's basically it. Just for those of you watching at home, okay, kids, listen. You're not really swallowing the balloon, okay? If you just watch the thing, you could see that the air is coming out, okay? So you're not swallowing the balloon. And if you put this in your mouth, I suggest spitting it out immediately when they're not looking, because if you swallow it, that could be tragic and not magic, okay? So just be careful, right? And also adults, if you're going to do this trick, do not do this trick for little kids because they'll think you're cool and they will try to emulate you, and they're going to try to do this too, and then you can get in some serious trouble. So if I were you, I would pick your audiences wisely just to alleviate the pain of someone getting hurt. You guys clap for that. But what I was really thinking was, just don't eat it, dummy! Okay. So, that was the one trick. Now, the next trick that I did was the one where I made the deck of cards appear magically, mysteriously, and entertainingly. And
you did do all the rope stuff.
I did do the rope stuff. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
That's all I do. I just sit over here.
He's here to help. He's here to help. That's right, the rope trick. Okay, so rope trick is, I put out, hold on for 1 second. I'll be right back. I put out a DVD years ago. Okay. And here it is. And it was from the Royal Magic people. And they found me before I worked for Fun Inc. That's kind of my day job. I worked for the company we're the only magic trick manufacturing company in the United States that actually we have like plastic injection molding machines, and we've got people that make stuff and cut cards and do all that stuff. And we're in Chicago, actually in the suburbs. And they had me, they said, hey, one of the guys that worked there said, Tomas is really good with rope. Maybe he could be the guy on this. And I was like, okay. That's kind of my career right there. It's just like, sure. Hey, you want to do a Penguin Magic lecture? Yeah. So what I did was like a nerd, I got together all these different books and moves and routines. I watched videos and all that stuff. And then I just picked my favorites. And this is, I think, one of the better selling ones of my the Medina collection. And even David Gann. Are you familiar with David Gann, the kid show magician? David Gann. He really likes this. He actually spoke with me and said, I really like your DVD, and he pitches them. So that means a lot because I would read his books, as younger. I still do. He's great, and it's nice to know that he thought so highly of this. Basically, what my routine is like maybe 5 of my favorite moves that are on here. The last one is the one-handed knot, and at that time I could not do the one-handed knot. But then, in typical Tomas fashion, someone called me up and said, hey, you want to do a show with rope tricks? And I was like, yeah. And then he's like, sure. And he's like, but you got to do a one-handed knot. Can you do that? And I was like, sure. And then I practiced, in my kitchen. And my girlfriend was like, come on, we got to go to dinner. I'm like, not until I got to get this. I got to get this like 3 times, and I got to do this before because I got that show next week. So basically, I learned it because I had to, and it was very difficult. But anyway, here's all the moves from the rope routine. What you'll need is a long piece of rope. I like to use the Fun Incorporated rope that we distribute because 1, I work there, and 2, I think it's one of the better rope out there. It's gleaming white. When you cut your rope, you put Scotch tape on the ends. Some people tuck the ends. Some people use glue. I've never figured out how to do the tucking thing and the glue. I don't, whatevs. For me, Scotch tape always works nice. And then you're also going to need an extra piece, okay? So you got an extra piece, and that's basically it. Even though on this DVD I do teach the cut and restored rope with scissors, I was never a fan of that because that means you got to buy more rope. So this one I used the same rope. In fact, you could see there's like, I don't know, some gross kid at a restaurant touched this, and there's probably like soup stains on it or whatever. But that's why I just use it over and over again. And the big move is one move. What you're going to do is you're going to hold the rope in your hand, and you have an extra piece. People aren't supposed to know that, so you don't want to do one of these, because then they'll figure out, laugh at you, and walk away. So now all you're going to do is the big move, and what you're going to do is wrap this small end around the rope so that it looks like you're holding on to the legitimate ends, but you're not. You're just holding on to fake, the fake ends, okay? So here's what you do. Now keep in mind when you watch me also that I'm left-handed, which, honestly, like when I had to learn magic tricks in books, I had to reverse everything, because the world is made for tall people and for right-handed people, and that's just my luck, It could be raining boobs, and I'm the only guy who gets hit in the head with a dong. So that's my luck. Can I say these things? I don't know if this is... Okay, so what you're going to
It's a
do...
little late to ask now. But
Yeah, because you'll get it in post-production, right?
yeah, it'll be fine. It's not like it's live.
Oh, this is live? I want to say hi to my stalker. So, I had this girl stalk me, Dan. Yeah, that's kind of how I get my chicks. If at first you don't succeed, stalk them. All right, so what you're going to do is this move. You're going to rest the phony ends on top of the other end, and you're just going to flip this end into the other hand and let. By the way, on this DVD, this is the corporate Tomas. I'm not zany or goofy on this one.
Hey, can you zoom in on that? They couldn't see it.
Yeah, let's do it again.
If we get I mean the DVD, they want to know what the title of it is.
Oh, thanks,
You can
Dan.
just say it.
It's called Amazing Magic Tricks with Rope,
There you go.
and those are not my hands. Okay. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to rest the rope on the other ends, and then you're going to do the switcheroo where you let go this one and you flip it into your hand in one fluid action, and now you've got that going on. And with that, you can do miracles. You're going to hold on to these two, and you're going to pretend to take the ends off. So what I do is I kind of wiggle them off, and then I do one of these, right? Now I put the ends over my ear in a moment just to tell the over-the-ear joke, which always gets a groan, but in my book, groans are good. And so then you do this move, which it's supposed to look like an endless loop of rope. Now, I always thought personally that this is kind of a stupid looking, look, it's got a big loop of rope. But some people find it deceptive. It actually looks very good. When I see other guys do it, maybe it's because I'm watching myself. But I watch other guys do it and go, well, that looks like an endless loop of rope right there. But you don't want to overdo it, you know. You just do it 1 or 2 times, and then you say, people say, hey, I know where the ends are. They're over ear. Right? And then when they go, that's when you take the ends. And what you're going to do is pop these guys back on. But in that motion, you're going to switch out the fake ends for the real end. I will show you. This goes in front like so. Now you're going to come towards back to you. Okay? You're going to let go of this part. And then you're going to grab onto this part as you go forward. See? I did the switch. Now, for the extra convincer, you take this and you kind of loop it around. Now, where I learned this, I learned it in a combination. I like the moves from Tabaret, which I bought the Tabaret VHS tape, and then I learned the Darryl rope routine. He has a little bit of different handling on that, but the Tabaret thing appealed to me because I like the flowiness, just dangling there, and then you just pull, and it's very pretty. It looks like it comes right back on. So let me do that again. That's the first phase. You do the switch, which you leave it there. You do the switcheroo. You let go. You tug. You pull the ends off. You put it on your ear. You do the look. I got the loop of rope move. Then you take the ends, have them dangle in front, come towards you. Let go of one end while you grab the real end. Give it that extra wrap around. You pause for the cause, and then you pull. Where you switch the ends, right? Now, this time, you're going to take the ends here, the fake ends, right? And you're going to give them an extra wrap around, and then you're going to tie, like when you're tying your shoes, that beginning knot. Okay, so now it's secured. So now they think that you just tied the rope together. Really? You didn't. Okay? You've got that going on. And then you've got the spare end just surfing right on there. Okay? So now, you say, you ever see the one where people take scissors? People go, yeah, and you go, that trick's passé. I don't have any scissors on me. And then you pretend you get these. And for whatever reason, kid shows, they really like, whoa! They really like that one. The one-handed knot, they're like, but the scissor move, they love that. So, and this I learned from Darryl. What you do is he puts his thumb, he kind of wraps his thumb here so that when you let go, you got some spring to it. And I think that makes it look, I don't know, it makes it look like, it's a little visual. You do one of these and you let this drop, and now it's cut. Now, you say, aha, now I've got one rope. Let me untie them. It's really 2. You got 2 ropes, right? You can see that I really did cut them. And now, this next move is from the great, I think it's Jeff Sheridan's move, the Street Magician. Okay, ready? So this is hooked on there like that. You're left with that. Next step, you're going to make a loop. You're going to go away from you, and you're going to feed the ends. You're going to feed them through the loop. Goes through the loop. And then it's going to go back around. Right? So now it looks like you've made a knot. Right? And you've just, the ends are basically wrapped around a false knot. Okay? Now to restore it, you pick your favorite, I pick the longest end, and I just put them together here, and I just give a little tug, and look what happens. I just pull the rope, this is the fake end, okay? I pull it out, whoop, and now you're left with a fake knot. And they think that that is the knot, and you just give it a little pull, and it's restored, okay? So let's do that one more time, because I know that was kind of confusing, but with, you know, I'm sure you guys could rewind. Okay, so let's do that again. Okay, so you do the move, you do the switcheroo, right? You wrap it around, sorry. Okay. Now you say, you see that one where you take the scissors, they go, yeah, you cut the rope. Doop. Now you go, look, it looks like I have 1 rope, but really you can see that I did cut them. I've got 2. Okay, now you do that one move that's kind of confusing, where you just make a loop, go towards yourself. You like the sound effects? And it goes right through like so. And you just pull. Now you've got, now here's the ends. They're kind of looped here. See? And then you just, until the ends meet the fake knot, you pick the longest end. You bring it up to any one of the 2 ends. You pull. It slips through the fake knot. You tug, and it's restored. Okay? So now you got 2 more moves. Whew. My girlfriend hates this trick, by the way. She says, oh, not the rope trick. But this, you can do this up close. You can do this on stage. I just do it as a vehicle to tell jokes. Really, honestly, I always wanted to be a comedian, but I didn't think I was funny enough, so I just decided to throw the magic is a vehicle for dumb jokes, basically what it is. Okay, so it goes. Now you're going to do this move. I think this is a tabaret move. In fact, I know it is. Okay. So, well, I learned it off his tape. So I don't know if it's his. Probably. By the way, that tabaret book, did you guys see that book? It's actually pretty good. It's very well illustrated. Okay. So you got the ends here, right? And then what you're going to do is join these 2 like you're doing the circle of rope. You let go of this. You grab the middle. You swing down. You grab the middle. You let go, and then all you do is you just basically pinch right here, and your hand just moves down. It's kind of bold, but you do it while you're talking. Do it while you're talking. So you just close, make a circle, pinch, you grab the thing, and then you just kind of make it move along, right? All right. This is probably the most boring, by the way, of the tricks that I'm going to be explaining, as far as explanation-wise. The other ones are just rocket ships of enthusiasm. Okay? I never really liked teaching these but since it's on video, I guess it's easy. Because if this was a live, like if you're never going to get this on tape, then people. This is the part where people just start yawning. Because how do you teach this and remember it? But since it's on video forever, you're going to remember. So now what you're going to do is you take this piece and then you kind of make it look like it's shrinking. Okay? All you're doing is just crumble it up in your hand. You pull, and then all you do is you pop this up, right? You do it again, okay? And then you just let go. And now what I always do is I keep talking. You just keep talking because you're going to ditch these ends. I move to the side, my hand drops, and I go into my pocket, and I just leave them in there. And that's it. As I say, if people think it's a fake phony rope you can get at, and then you say the name of whatever, your favorite magic shop, which I'm sure is Penguin. So then, see what I did there? Okay, who's the company guy? So then anyway, you've got the rope here. Now I'm going to teach you how to do the fake knots. I'm going to go in front of here so you can see. This is another, I don't know, I think this is a tabouré thing too. This is a false knot with two hands. You explained to them that you always had problems doing it with two hands. You could always do it with one hand. So it's your excuse for doing the one-handed knot. And I learned that from Jeff Sheridan. Jeff Sheridan said that. So now what you do is you bring back the rope like so and you pinch. Now if you were going to really make a knot, you put it here and then you're stuck with a knot and you can't get that out. But if you do it the opposite way, it's a fake knot. So it goes towards you like so. And then you're just going to go, I'm fooling myself here. You're just going to go, okay, you put your finger here and you just loop it through the front. See? Now when you let go, it just falls apart because you didn't really do anything. So you cross, and then instead of going this way to make the knot, you go the other way. You even fool yourself. You'll be like, yup, oh wow, look at that. Now you're going to do the hunter bow knot. This is going to be a real pain for me to explain, so if you've got to take a nap, now's the time. So the hunter bow knot. Okay. I actually learned this, I think I learned this in instructions for a rope trick or something. I learned this on paper. That's how hard I worked on this one. No video. So you start off like so, where you make like a little doggy hand, roof, roof, when you're doing the hand shadows, and then this goes here. You're going to go. Oh man, I can't even remember. Do this. Okay. So you're going to twist towards yourself. Okay. And see these hands right here? See these fingers? See these guys? Yes, mister. Okay, you're going to grab this one here, and then these. See these? Okay, you're going to grab these, and then they're going to switch. And then you pull them through. And now, you got a cute little bow, right? But you're not done. No. You see, you're going to pick one of the ends. I like to pick this one. And you pull it through. And now, when you pretend like you're going to tie the knot, it stays. Crap, I explained it wrong! Okay, let's do that again. Okay, one more time. Okay. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I messed up. Okay. So you're going to twist forwards like this, and your fingers pinch, and you go through. Now, that's it. Both of them go through. Yeah, Tomas. Both of them go through. Isn't that weird? I've done this trick for like almost 20 years. And when you go in slow motion and explaining it, you just mess up. All right. So now you're going to pinch the solid ropes and let go of the bows as they go through the little Bowie area. Bowie. I like David Bowie. Did you know that David Bowie has two different color eyes? One is blue and one is gray, and that's because he got punched in the face when he was a little kid, so he has discolored eyes. Did you know that? Fun fact. Here's more stuff on David Bowie. Back in 1974, he was on a diet of green pepper and milk, and he only weighed 90 pounds. And I think he ate that. I think he said because he wanted to cleanse his soul from evil spirits. Fun fact. I have a PhD in David Bowie. Okay, and then you pull, and it falls apart. Okay, so there you go. That's the hunter bow knot. Now, the one-handed knot is very difficult to do. I read somewhere that it's one of the harder things to learn. It's hard, but if you believe what's in your soul, hold on tight and don't let go. Do you know who said that?
David Bowie.
Mariah Carey. All right. Okay. What you're going to do is you kind of drape the rope over your hand. Remember the hand puppet? Hi. Okay. Now you got a little pointer finger. Okay. Now this pointer finger is what you're going to do is you're going to go down 75% of the way down. So it's 3/4 of the way down, and you're going to make like a little P, like a letter P. And you're going to whack it right there. And what's going to happen, and I'm going to try to do this as slow as possible, is that little piece is going to go through that P loop, like this. See? Do that again. Okay. Okay, here we go. See? So you just basically do that, and it's, I don't know, it's easier said than done. You just go, like this is what I'm thinking when I do this. I think, first of all, I'm thinking, man, I hope I make this. I hope I do this. Because it's like the final thing of the rope trick, and if I can't get it, how embarrassing. So now, see, and then if you get pretty good at it, you can do another one. You get 2. And you just keep going until they like it and clap. And that's the rope trick. Yay! Okay. All right, so the next trick that I showed you was the card production. Okay, so now you got to get yourself a deck of cards. I'll be right back, you guys.
Hey, can I have my button back?
Yeah, you can.
All right. Taking my button.
Sorry, Dan.
It's all right.
I don't know what I did with it. Oh, man.
I've got it. I got it right here.
No, I'm looking for my
cards?
cardiologist deck. You know, I'm serious. Oh, we'll use this. Okay, what is this? All right, so here's how you do this. This is a marketed item. It's called the Instant Deck, the ID. I don't know how popular it was. I know we sold quite a bit at Fun Inc. This was my idea. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with a wonderful magician from Pennsylvania named Alex Laredo, but he is awesome. He's like the guy's guy. He's like the type of guy that you would have as a friend if you ever wanted to hide a dead body. You would call up Alex, and he'd totally help you. And I told him about this idea. I said, you know, I want to have a holder in your jacket so that you can do like a dove steal, but you know, you can do it with a deck of cards. And I was thinking, I was trying like a holster. I tried all these different things, and Alex was like MacGyver. He made one, and when his original prototype was made of, like, it had magnets, and it was all hand done. He even spray painted it, and he wanted to charge. I mean, it was all handmade by him in his basement. So I was really impressed with it, and so I said, well, how about this? How about we redesign it a little bit, because you kind of got the idea. And I took it to my friend Andrew Michaels. And Andrew, his family owns a company that manufactures springs and all things metal. So what he did was he wound up making this for us. And it looks like basically, if you can get a close-up on it, it's like let me put it by my shirt. Did you guys look at this? Oh, the tie! It comes off! Is that an optical illusion? All right. So basically, it's like a glorified potato chip clip. That's what it is. It's got a little hanger thing here. And there's a little sticky felt pad on there. And the reason there's a sticky felt pad is when you would make the deck appear, you would hear like a ping! And that was no good. So here's what you do. You hook this in your jacket pocket. Now, you're saying, Tomas, I don't like to wear jackets. People can wear them with vests. There's even a safety pin that it comes with. That you can safety pin it into your vest. So it goes inside there. Now you get yourself your deck of cards, and then you're going to hold it in there, and you can walk around. Everything's cool. Doesn't fall. Now, when you're ready to do the trick, you need to get yourself a scarf or a silk or whatever. This thing is huge. I don't know how big this is. This is probably 36 inches or something, but whatever. I've used all different sizes. So when you're going to get ready to do the trick, you put the thing in your jacket pocket. You walk up to someone, you say, hi, I'm the Wandering Magician. I was wondering if I could show you a trick. Or you can say something funny. You kind of adjust your jacket. Your hand goes down. Okay, now what you're going to do in one fell swoop there is adjust the jacket. This is the way I do it. Now, on the instructional DVD that the ID comes with, the ID, it's called Instant Deck. There's like deck switches. You can, there's a whole bunch of things you can do with it. And basically what I've done when I touched it is I put it on an angle. Okay, so you're like this. You roll up your sleeves. I like to roll up the sleeves to show that there's nothing up there. Also, I like to show everybody that I have really skinny forearms. Then my hand goes down. I hit the deck of cards. It's now ready for it to be stolen. I reach in here. As I'm looking for my scarf, I say, aha. Now, I double it over. Okay, so you could find the appropriate scarf if you like, but for this one, it was just a last-minute thing. I'm like, gotta get a scarf. So I got one of these. I double it over. Now, I'm going to show you the production real fast, and then I'm going to show you the exposed view. Okay? So here we go. All right. You double it over. This is now on the side. Okay? My hand drapes over my forearm. I pinch here so that I can hold on to the scarf. As I come back, this hand, see this hand? Goes into my jacket pocket. I remove the deck. As I get a lot of cover. I just stole it, right? You pause, and now it appears. What'd you think, studio audience? Okay. So we'll do it again with the exposed view. Goes over my forearm and appears, right? And that's basically it. Now, there's other things you can do with it, like if you had flash paper, okay? I never do this because I like the scarf thing. But Alex Laredo, the MacGyver of magic, he does it with flash paper. And so you go down, right? You kind of pull out, you're holding onto the piece right here as you grab the lighter. And then as soon as and you're holding onto the flash paper here. Can you picture that? You light it, flash, and then you let go, and then it appears. You can also pop a balloon, you know, where you blow up the balloon, you blow it up, and then you hold onto the balloon, and you grab your pin, you pop it, boom, and then it appears. So there's so many things you can do with the instant deck, and that is something that you can purchase. That's a little clip, and there you go. Thank you, thank you. So the next trick that I wanted to teach is the cardiologist. I don't know what I did with it, so I'm going to go back over here and open up a brand new cardiologist. Okay, so this was I put this together with James Coates. James Coates, the pickpocket guy, he lived in Chicago for a while, and I don't know. It used to, in my opinion, used to mean something to be a magic celebrity. You know, you really had to. This is when I think anybody could pretty much put out DVDs and stuff, and I'm one of those. I think I was one of the first. I didn't think anything of this trick. I would do it at the magic store. Again, because, you know, I always kind of lower my, I don't know, I just always think, whatever, I just put this trick together. And I noticed that some of these magicians would come back to see me do the trick. I think I fooled them, you know. And even like professional, like kind of celebrity magicians would come in and see the kid behind the counter doing this card trick. And my friend James said, hey, why don't we release this through Fun Incorporated? And I went, sure. So I went over and I showed Graham Putnam the trick, and he liked it. And he said, I want to buy your trick. And I was like, all right. So that's basically it. It's a trick deck of cards where it's 50% you and 50% the deck of cards. So here's how it works. I'm going to open up a fresh cardiologist deck. Okay. It's hermetically sealed for your protection. And the cover, I mean, it was put together on like this home video editing, you know, thing for your computer. And, you know, it's got me going to dingy, dirty, filthy, nasty bars, which is pretty much the venues I work. And, you know, it's got me on there doing this trick, and I guess people were impressed by it. And it's got all the jokes in there, all the moves, all the flourishes, all the card forces. Everything that I did for Jacob up here is on here. Except for one thing, I forgot to do it in the performance, so I'll show you one thing on there. But here's how you make one. But the big secret is one day I was working at a magic store, and this guy came in. I was doing the Svengali deck, and he said, hey, Tomas, can I shuffle that? And I'm like, sure. I gave it to him, thinking there's 26 of the same card in there, so chances are I'm still going to find it. And what I found was when he shuffled it, he gave it a riffle shuffle, and what happened is the Svengali deck was still, the cards were still alternating because of the way the Svengali deck worked. Then I said, well, that's pretty neat. So then I'm like, I wonder if I could find all the 4 aces. So I was working with short cards, in other words. So I was just experimenting. I cut the aces short, and look at that. I could cut right to each ace and just cut right to it. Go, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do it with just the entire suit, you know, like all the spades or all the clubs, you know. And I'll do that, you know, that's pretty good. And then, I don't know, just messing around, I just decided to pair them up. So basically, a cardiologist deck is every other card is cut. The top card is going to be a short card. So if you want to make one of these, if you have the patience of a saint, you basically, you get yourself a paper cutter, you know, and you just cut short, like, I mean, and I'm talking like not a lot, like a little teeny tiny amount off, like small, like millimeter. Whoop. And that's basically it. And you just cut one card short, and its mate is going to be long. So in this case, you pick like the hearts and the spades are going to be the short cards. Got it? So you take all the hearts and you cut them just a hair short. And you take all the spades and you cut them just a hair short. And then you pair them up. So now you've got the heart is teamed up with the long card, the diamond. And then the short card is the spade, and that's paired up with its mate, the club. You've got the 5 of spades and the 5 of clubs. Got it? So that's kind of how you made it. Now, the way I made this is I took it to my friend Tim Felix, who owns a magic shop. And Tim had this awesome, like, slick stripper deck, you know, did everything. A paper cutter, microwave, it was everything. And he cut the deck for me, and that was the first thing. And if you notice on the cover of the cardiologist deck, these are actually Walgreens. Because isn't Walgreens awesome? These are stud cards. So yeah, every once in a while I get like, can I get the stud deck and cardiologist deck? And I was like, no. But that's what I would use. And I think that's what fooled the magicians, because they expected the deck to be a trick. I don't know what, maybe it's just because it was so fair. Basically, it's, again, you're doing card flourishes with the deck, but it's also a gaff deck. And I've actually had people handle this. Magicians take the deck out of my hands, and when you wear out your cardiologist deck, it's a lot better because it's worn out. It's less of a chance for the cards not to fall in pairs. I'll show you what that is in a moment, when I explain the trick. But with the natural greases of your hand, and my hands are always sweaty because I'm, creepy. But my hands are always sweaty, and so therefore the deck wears out pretty nice. So, and if you do notice, you can shuffle the cards as many times as you want, and it has to be a riffle shuffle. Now, it cannot be you can if you want to corner round, but that's too much work for you guys. But if you get somebody who does one of those bridge shuffles and does the edge, that's not going to work if they do one of those. So if someone does that, right, this is what you do. You say, "Hey, stop!" and then you take it away from them. or you can just say, "No. How about this?" And you give it to somebody else. I'm serious. That's what I've done. I just not you. It looks like you know cards here. How about this guy right here, or whatever. But all in all, you just want them to give it one of those, and everybody does this, and then they think they're cool because they go, "Oh, look at that." Okay. I just almost messed that up. So anyway, so they're all paired still because of the long short card principle. Isn't that kind of neat? So they're still all paired. So, and another reason why I put this together, because I wanted to do Sam the Bellhop, but I didn't want to worry about losing that stack. So with this, it's almost like magic improv. It's almost like comedy improv, but with a magic twist, because you can it's just an excuse for you to show off all your card handling skills. And when I do it, I sometimes do it almost like it's like trick dealing. So let's put all these things away here. Is this the cardiologist deck? Oh my gosh, I'm so going to mess this up. I was so organized. Dan made this table. I have problem putting together IKEA furniture. Okay. So, you have them shuffle it. Now they give it a cut. Okay, and there's the 5, right? The next one is the 5 of clubs because of the way the cardiologist deck works. So, what you're going to do, see that fly? Right there?
Mm-hmm. So just stand there.
Watch this. Yeah. Ah, you! All right. For those PETA people on the Magic Cafe, I wasn't going to hit the fly. I made it so that it flew away. So if you're going to complain...
It's a stunt fly. We've been training that thing for days.
Nice. So anyway, so the next one is the 5 of clubs, right? Now you're going to have somebody pick a card, and I always like to start off with the classic 4. So if I would like to bring up Jacob, who's texting somebody right now. Jacob, would you like to come on over here and help me out? Sure, mister. Here he comes. Yay. Okay, come on over this way.
Sasha Crespi says hi, by the way.
Who's Sasha Crespi? Is that a girl?
No.
All right.
French.
He's a French. Oh, bonjour. Okay, pick a card.
Boom.
And what'd you get?
5.
5 of clubs. Look at that. All right, so here's how you do it, Magic fans. You put your pinky in, and when I put my pinky, I take no chances. I just shove it in there. It's so gross. Look at that. It's just in there, right? But I don't care because it's awful. But what I do, I just kind of fan them out and have you pick. And I time it out so that, like, they're going, right? So you don't know, what is this guy going to do, you're saying? What is he going to do? And then as soon as I get close to that gap, I say, pick a card. And my hand goes towards you, and I just push it in your hand, right? And you take it. So you kind of feel like, really, like you're a martial artist. You know, really, seriously, when you do this, you feel like, you ever see those martial arts that you just, and then they block you and then boom.
Yeah.
You know? It's just almost like that. You feel it. Go ahead, take a card. Boom. And you just feel it. You just feel it. Show everybody that it's 5 clubs.
Boom.
See? So I've tried all different ways, and the really way to get good at it is have somebody pick a card when you don't even have to force the card.
Yeah.
So if you're just doing it, you just here take a card, and then they take it, right? And show it to them, and it is the 5 of clubs. So that's really it. You put your finger in there, and then you time it out, and then boom. Now look, you're one off. You're one off. But I'll show you how to get out. If you force the wrong card, you take that out. Take that card out. Now look. Show them what card you got. You got the king, right? Now look where the king is. King of spades is right here, right? Now look, and then look what you got here. You got the 5 of clubs. So now, if you're going to do some magic improv, you set this down, right? And now you're set up for that yawner card. I always thought this was a total yawner, but hey, this is perfect for that. You just, that where you're going to hold the bottom and top card and just chuck the middle portion, and then you just dump them off, and now you have found the mates, right? So even if you mess up on the classic force with the cardiologist deck, you're okay. So now you say stop.
Stop.
Okay, and then you stop me on the queen, right? Now, the queen of clubs is right over that darn fly. Okay, not going to kill it. All right, so now what you're going to do is the next one is the timing force. I learned this one from a Simon Lovell book called Simon Says, and it's awesome. I mean, it's just as close to as good a force as the classic force because it's the same thing. It's kind of like when they're going to say stop.
Right.
So you set them down whenever you want. Just say stop.
Stop.
And you stop me right here. Boom. Queen of clubs. And the way you do that is, are you guys familiar with the Illuminati? Because I'm like a 7th Freemason wizard, and I've sold my soul, so I know what he's thinking. It's basically what's going on. Ron Paul. All right, so I'm going to set down the cards down like so, right? But I got the pinky right here.
Right.
And then I'm not even telling you what I'm doing. I'm going to set some cards down, and I'm going to say, whenever you want, just say stop. And then in my brain, I count 1, 2, 3. And always on the third, 1, 2, 3, they always say stop. Now, I'm telling you this, Jacob, and because I'm telling you this, you're not going to say stop on the third one. So just whenever you want, just say stop.
Stop.
2, 3, boom, right? So that's basically it. I put some cards down. Whenever you want, just say stop.
Stop.
Just stop me. Now, let's say you mess up. If you go, and whenever you want, say stop, and they stop you, stop. Now the queen is here, so you can just turn it over here, right? So it's either going to be on the table or in your hand. Now, let's say let's say one of those people that are just total jerk faces, and they won't say stop. And then you can use that stupid magician line, I like it when the people don't say stop, or whatever, or I like it when girls don't say stop, or whatever, I don't know. Whatever line you want to use. Hack line. Yeah, right, the clean hand. So you set them down, and then whenever you say 1, 2, and if you notice they're not going to say stop, you just say, okay, hold on, just take your time, and then do something else. Just go to a different, riffle force it, or I don't know, whatever you want to do.
Forehead.
Chuck it to their forehead. That would probably get you not booked for the next.
Well, but it'll be funny for them.
It would be. So I'm gonna give me a number between 1 and 20.
11.
11. Okay. We should pair them all up here. So we've got the 5. Okay, you give me the number 11, right?
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See, right at the number. You give me. So how you do this is in the Tom Mullica book. You're going to take the card. You know what?
Tom Mullica 11.
What's that?
Tom Mullica has 11 in the line in his show.
Does he?
Yeah.
What are you, a stalker? That's weird.
A little bit.
A little bit, just a tad. Tom Mullica's great. I learned I was Tom Mullica for a while because I really thought that cigarette trick was the greatest trick ever.
Yeah, me too.
And I learned it. And I did this Tom Mullica. I'm on YouTube somewhere doing it. But all of them. I learned them all. And I would do all, I basically did, I like Tom. And then I just kind of streamlined the act, so I would just do the cigarette eating. And then I even landed the gig. I was a magician for Camel Cigarettes. And I would, do all these smoke. But then the smoking ban hit. And I'm not even a smoker. But I just thought that the cigarette tricks were really cool, and the smoking ban hit, and then I pretty much don't do it that much, but I still do the trick. Still do the trick. Yeah. ShamWow, Masuda Wow. So what you're going to do, you know how this works, right? Do you know how how this works? You don't know how this works?
No idea.
Oh, wow. I'm going to blow your mind. So the card's on the top, and then I say, Jacob, give me a number between. Now, as I'm pretending to kind of like not know what I'm doing, I thumb count, and I'm a pretty good thumb counter. So I just go. You just practice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You just practice going real fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? Just practice that. And what I do while I'm talking is I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I say, hey, Jacob, how you doing? And you're like, sure, I'm all right. And then I go, give me a number between 1 and 20. And then I go another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I'm set. If you say any numbers 10 and up, I'm all set. If you say anything under 10, I just lose the break. And then I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever. If they say 1, then you just go, oh, and there you go. But try to get them to say, give me a number between 1 and 20. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? So now I got my break right there. And then I say, Jacob, give me a number between. You say 11. I just add one more. My finger goes in. I put this to my side. And what I do is I basically lever the deck so that it goes into that break face up. And then I count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right? So there you go. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Watch your steps. Go all the way back. Jacob, thank you. Now the next one. The next one is the one where it shoots in the air. And basically you're going to have to learn to shoot it in the air and catch it in the middle of the deck. So it's kind of like the one-handed knot where it's, you got to try. So you're going to do this. I learned this off of Jeff McBride's tape. You just basically put your thumb here and you push. Let me set that down for a moment. That's long enough. You basically just shoot it up in the air. But what you're going to do is, and you can do these with regular cards. So there's protruding. This is face up. And then you push, and you just flick it in the air, and then you just open, and it just, do you like the sound effects? It goes right in. And then hopefully, and I always do this, there you go. So you got the twos, okay? And what else did I do? Oh, the pop-out move. Okay, this is really cool. So let's say you got the 3 of spades. You got to find the 3 of clubs. And meanwhile, you can be shuffling or whatever. The pop-out move is mine. What I wanted to do is I wanted to do this, and then I wanted a card to just fly out. And in messing around, I found out that you can do this. It's a 3. Okay, it looks okay, right? Okay, so what you're doing is you're letting the cards fall onto your thumb, and then your thumb's going to kind of lever it over, and you trap them back on there. You can do it 2 ways. You can let them dribble, and then it appears, or you can go just don't let them dribble, and then just there you go. So there's that move. One of the moves that I did not do because I forgot was this one, and this is where I said that I'm creepy. Okay, so let's say I want to find the 3 of clubs, and I go, it looks like it's right over there. Oop, hold on. One moment. My difficulties be technical. Okay, so you go like that. And it's almost like you found it, okay? So let's say you got the 10, okay? You poke right there. You found it. Okay, the way that works, and when I do a double lift, okay, hold on, let's do it. You got the 9. Now I'm going to find the 9 of clubs. Okay, I just did a double lift, right? So there's the 4. I set it down. Now, because for whatever reason, cards stick to my hand because I'm a sweaty mess, I mean, and then I do, look, it's gone, and people go, whoa, it vanished. So it goes like, see, but it's really just stuck onto my hand. I have no idea why that happens. So what I do is I fan out, my hand's underneath, and they kind of ride. As I pick any card, right, but that's not going to be the 9 of clubs, it's right there. My hand sticks, there's the 9, right, and it comes forward, and then I just feed it into that area, and I found the mate. And I think that's all the revelations that I did. There's so many things you can do with the cardiologist deck. I pick one up. I know Penguin really pushed this thing when it came out in 03. And there you go. So there's the cardiologist deck. Okay. Okay. All right. I've got another set to do for you guys. I'll be right back. Dan,
yeah, that's okay. I'll answer this question. The question is, did you use any order for the deck, like setting up in size Stebbins? No, not really, because you're going to shuffle it anyway, so you'd be destroying the order. All you're doing is maintaining the pairs in the thing. You could set it up to begin with in some sort of.
Is this on the internet?
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. To begin with, you could have an order.
It's probably my mom.
Yeah. Now, I actually have a couple little handling things on the cardiologist deck that I think are pretty cool. And I'll give you a free one.
Sure.
I don't know if it's out because I never saw the video on it, so I don't know. But you can do a card stab for the mate, which is really nice.
You can't tease us like that.
But you know where it is because when they take it, you know where the mate of it is. So you do a card stab for it. Very simple, straightforward one. Simple, squeeze the deck one way. Give it a cut, squeeze it the other way, wrap it up, stab, you get the mate. Very nice. Yeah.
I dig it. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
The next set, Maestro music, please. Thanks, guys. All right. I learned that after all that. It's a good trick to do during Halloween time. Halloween's my favorite time of year because it's the only time of year I get to drink goat's blood. Let's see. What's your name? Axel. Axel? Look at the can. Axel, you can come over this way. Okay, Axel. Tap the can. Make sure it's sealed. Is it sealed?
It is.
Okay, here we go. Thank you, Axel. Well, that was that trick. Okay. This is really neat. Did that get a wow? How about the one-handed knot? Okay, let's see if I can do this. Let's see. Maybe we could do it on the table. Say go.
Go.
Okay. Dun, dun, dun. And then you put that away. Dun, dun, dun. And
You don't
then
mind
we
if I
got,
say that is a fancy forking trick.
I like that.
He'll use
That actually got like 15,000 or some YouTube hits. And I like because kids were like, fake, edit. I'm like, listen, 15-year-old kid, that's the real thing. There's no editing there. Okay, I've got my, I like to get in arguments online when I'm trolling through the internet. Okay, here we go. Okay. I need the help of one person from the audience. Is there someone there who would like to come on up and help out the amazing Toad to the Mossy? Somebody who would like to help me out? Kid, come on over this way. Here he comes. Everybody clap for my friend. All right. What's your name?
Jack.
Jack. And they say that I don't know Jack. Jack, come on over this way, Jack. Okay. How old are you, Jack?
14.
Wow, you're going to be like 9'12" by the time you get to be my age. I'm 37, but I read at a 38 level. Okay, here we go. Do you see the 4? 1, 2, 3. Okay, Jack. This goes away inside the interdimensional transponder. My jacket. Okay, hold on to the 3. Squeeze real tight. Ready? Open. Thank you. Yay, Jack. Okay, now Jack, hold on to all these pieces. Okay. That's long enough. Open your hand. Unravel them. They are back together! Hello. Okay, Jack. Okay, I'm going to do a trick for you. Oh, you're 14, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
Shot glass.
How do you know that? See, you never do tricks for kids with a shot glass, but if there's a duck on there, it's okay. Okay.
That's a children's shot glass.
It's
is
a
what
kid's.
that is.
One time I did a show in Michigan. I think it was around here. And this one woman, this is a true story. So she met me at some bar, and she's like, hey, you want to come over and do tricks for my kids? I was like, all right. So I come over, and then I brought my friend Doug with me. And he says that this was one of the most surreal things that's ever happened to him. But I'm in there, I do my show, and the woman's like, hey, wait a minute. You didn't do that trick with the cigarettes. You eat all them cigarettes. And I go, well, the kids are 5. I'm not going to do, the cigarette eating for 5-year-old kids, And he's like, it's okay, my baby drink beer, show them. And this little 5-year-old kid grabbed a beer and downed the whole beer. And I was like, DCFS? It was really weird. And then they had like a big family fight, and then I had to get paid, and then I'm waiting, and said, meet me and she's got like a baby in her arms, I'm going to pay you. And then she stops, she goes, I'm a one-woman man. And it's like she wanted to hook up with me in the restroom with her kid in her arm, and I'm like, ah! But the check cleared. Okay, hold on to the ball. Open. Look, it's gone. The ball's gone. Guess where it went? Look. Under the glass. Want to see that again? Sure, mister. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Let me set those down. It's okay. Okay. Are you okay? Yes. Is it still there? Yeah. Hold on. All I did was I just had it palmed, and as I was looking for a card, that wasn't even part of the trick. Okay. So I wrap it around. Okay. So what I'm going to do, and now you're not supposed to do a trick twice. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
That's it.
Well, the reason why you're not supposed to is because once is entertainment and twice is education, right? So I'm going to do it again. It's like a little challenge, though. Okay. Where did it go? Now, you do magic tricks, right?
Yeah.
So did it go under the glass? But look at my hand. Is it in the hand? Or did it somehow, as if by magic, did it go inside my pocket? So where do you think it went to?
Honestly?
Honestly.
I think it's under the glass.
Very good, very good. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, this time in the pocket. But look, goes underneath the glass. See? Goes in the pocket, Goes underneath the glass. Want to learn how I do this? I pretend to put it in my pocket, and when you're not looking, that's when I sneak it under. And if you're buying, see? So I pretend to put it in, and then when you're not looking, it's under. Well, if you believe that, I think I should put a cork in it. And I'm worried because you just might be seeing double. And do you think I could make a third cork appear under there?
I hope so.
Well, I can't because the glass is gone. Whoa! You're wearing, and look at Andrew. He's wearing the magician bracelet from InvisibleThreads.com. Watch your step. He's go all the way back. One more round of applause for Jack. Okay, so let's teach the set here. First trick that I'm going to show you is the razor blade trick. Now, this is very dangerous, and I'm going to be really serious now, so if you can just get a close-up on my face to show you how serious I am. Kids, stay in school, drink your milk, be true to yourself, be true to your family, say your prayers, be a real American. Also, I'm going to show you a trick with razor blades. Okay, so the fact that you can even get your hands on razor blades, because you know how hard it is to find old school razor blades? Actually, not that hard. You can go to Walgreens and get some. But listen, kids, you shouldn't be playing with razor blades to begin with. The Geek Magic release is suggested for kids 18 years old and up. So if you're not, hey, Jack, have you seen my Geek Magic DVD?
Yeah.
You're 14! He's 14 and he owns it. All right, anyway, so there's stuff with razor blades on there you're not supposed to do. But how does Tomas do this trick? The way I do it is I cheat. I don't really string them together with my mouth. What I did first, and this is very important, is you can either go to your friend who works at a machine shop and have him dull down the razor blades. Okay, so these are really dull, okay, but they started off razor sharp, okay? Now, this part in the middle is still kind of sharp, this part in the middle. Just don't touch that, dummy. Okay, right here, this is really dull, and you could do it the way I used to do it, is one day I just took sandpaper and I just went a gazillion times, like on the table with sandpaper, until it was super dull, okay? So that's how you dull down the blades. Now, I've seen instructional magic DVDs where a guy just doesn't even tell you to, he just chucks the blades in his mouth, and I was like, that guy is nuttier than squirrel poop, because somebody is going to sue his ass. So what I'm going to say is just dull these things down, okay? Please, dull them down, right? And so all of them are dulled. Before the show, you string up the blades. I just string them out, at an arm's length, okay? And I've got super tiny arms, so it's not that. Everything's bite-sized on me, or is it? So anyway, so you got they're all threaded together, and what you're going to do is, in Geek Magic, I explain a method to wind them up. I actually don't use that method anymore. If you want to learn that method, you can just buy the darn DVD, or you can illegally torrent it like everybody else does. And then you put them right here, right? You stack them nicely so you have all the strings all hanging that way, right? So they're all in order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Now, how do you suck the string up so quickly like I did? This is actually really fun to do. Okay, I learned this off a book by Mac King called Tricks with Your Head. It's a great book, right? The reason this works is because I'm using string made by polyester thread. Okay, it does not work with cotton thread. Put it in your mouth, and then if you just suck, then it just goes right into your mouth. So here we go. See? So this is kind of fun to do. And it's funny because when I went to Joann Fabrics, do they have that in Ohio? Mm-hmm. Joann Fabrics? Yeah. Joann gets around. And it's funny because I kind of took one off the shelf because I didn't know if it was polyester thread because the tag was all messed up. So then there I am in the aisle, and I go, people passing by, what's he doing? So you just just hold it in your mouth and just go, and don't worry about inhaling because it probably, actually worry about inhaling the thing because somebody might be like, I did it and I hurt myself. And they'll email. I work at Fun Inc. and I always get people, I was working with the fire palm gimmick and the fire fell and my arm caught on fire, and then I'm just like, oh, sucks to be you, dummy. So you just, so that's how I started off, right? But I've got these threads on the side of my cheek, okay? And then I maneuver the thread so that it goes on my upper lip. I got a lot of stuff in my mouth. I got that right there. It's on the upper lip. Then I use this apple. I learned this from watching my magician friend David Parr, who's wonderful, great magician. And he does this threads and razor blades. And look at how dull these are. I really dulled these down, so I'm not even... Ow! Just kidding. So you got them in like this, right? And razor blades and apples go hand in hand with Halloween, because I stay up all night when I hand out my apples to all the kids. Okay? I don't. Okay. So now you put this in your mouth. Okay? I've got the thread in there, and some guys, I used to, in Geek Magic, by the way, the method, I actually added them in. I don't do it that way anymore. I had a spool that would add the threads in. Now I just walk out with the threads in my mouth. Okay? A lot of stuff going on here. Multitasking. And I'm putting them to this side. So I've got, this is the mouth management part of the show. You got the dull blades in your mouth. And they're stacking, right? Now, you just take these. One at a time. You pull them out. Oops, careful that the thread doesn't get tangled. All right? Now you're like this. Then what you're going to do is you're going to add all these to this one. And also, if they really are sharp, because you want to let people know that they're really sharp, you kind of, pretend, like when you take it, you got, I don't want to cut myself. And then you put it in the cup, and you're all done. Now, over here, you notice there's really 5 blades there, but nobody really could tell, unless, of course, they're like some Bell Lab scientists or something. But there's 5 there. And your mouth is clean, you're empty, and you're off to do the next trick. And the next trick I did was, I did that stupid gag with the soda can. Honestly, I'm a big fan of dumb stunts like that, just for friends. I think that's, it's not really magic, but even if you just do it for somebody, it's great for the reaction. I was that guy with the squeaker, and I would, walk up, I'd go to Toys R Us, I'd pick up the teddy bear, and you see the little kid go, oh, and then he'd go up and he can't do it, and I'm like laughing. Or, there used to be this thing where you'd record, I bought it at a magic shop, I don't know what happened, but you would record anything and you could play it back. And it was real small, it was like a sound gizmo. I think that might have been what it was called. And I would record like a whistle, like woo woo. And so then I'd pass by someone, I'd hit it, and woo woo, and then I look, and then they'd be like, it wasn't me. And or like Diamond Jim Tyler's got a funny bit that he does from his Bamboozlers books, which are awesome. He's got, what you do is you get yourself a buck, right? And you take your credit card, right? And you glue, basically, you got $1, pretend that's $1. On the back, you glue a credit card, right? So you walk up to the cashier, when they say cash or credit, you say credit. You unfold the $20 bill, right? You hold it this way, and you swipe it in the machine. So they see you swipe a buck in, or like the $20 bill. They go, bloop, and then they look at you, and then you go, yep, I got like $10 left on that one. And you put it back in your wallet. It's all these stupid little things. You get yourself a squirting toilet seat. It costs like $2 at the gag tea shop, or magic shop. And you put it, you fill it up. And most people, what you do, you fill it up with water, and you set it underneath. And when they sit down, it squirts the water up at your tuchus. But if you think like I do, you take the nozzle and you point it downward, and you fill it with fake blood. They're going to call the doctor the next morning. So I like all these different little things to do. I like to do all these little things to make people smile. The next trick that I did was called the exchange, and gosh, all these things that I do with these decks. Okay, let me teach you how to do the exchange now. The exchange is a marketed effect. I think Fun Incorporated has sold maybe 8,000 of these. And what they did, and this is, again, prior to me working there, basically they would ask me, hey, Tomas, you want to do another video? I'm like, okay. So that's kind of everything falls in my lap. So what you do with this is somebody came to us, and his name was David Goring, magician from Europe, gave us all these ideas, and this is one that we got from him. And I think we bought it, and we just kind of didn't know what it did. Like, we just said, fine, we'll just buy the rights. So we bought the rights to this thing, but we really didn't. They just gave it to me. I'm like, we kind of don't know how to do this, but if you want to just work with it. And I was like, sure. So what it is, and you want to get a close-up on this, you could probably make this. It's a 2-pound fishing line that's strung together between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so there's 14 real cards, and then there's 15, 16. There's 2 thick cards, 2 stuck together, and there's a little tiny hole, and in between is this 2-pound fishing line. Do you guys see the little monofilament? Okay, 2-pound fishing line. And you string those together, you use some glue. We do a really good job of making these. And this is just a regular deck, right? A regular half a deck, 26 cards or whatever, they go on top of there. Before the show, you take your aces. Okay, now with that thick card, that's like a key card. You hear like a little click. That's that thick card. Now you know you're into your gaff portion. So I just let one go by, and I push one card go by, and I push the aces in. They don't know they're in there. Now you can just shuffle the top stock. Everything is cool. Okay. So basically, what the exchange does is you can switch anything out. You can cut and restore a card. I think I came up with, I can't remember all of them because this was like 10 years ago, but I came up with like 10 really good tricks to do. I was watching it the other day, and I was like, holy cow, how does that work? I even fooled myself. So there's a lot of cool tricks on the exchange DVD. Plus the spectator girl that's on there is super hot. So anyway, I put the kings in like this. Now, here's what's going to happen. In adjusting the kings, I have now switched the cards out. I know, right? Okay, so let's do that. Basically, without my hand covering, there's the kings, right? Here's what happens. I push this in, and the other ones pop into play. Was that not some straight-up James Bond right there? So if James Bond was a card magician, he'd use this trick. It's like a gizmo. So this is a very cool little, you just go like, without the hand there, you just watch the other ones. Weep, hello. So on YouTube, it's fun to see all the comments, like, oh, fake, look at this mark at 1 minute, 15 seconds, watch the edit, you know. But no, it's just me, I practiced a bit. Not really, it's pretty easy to do. But I came up with the handling, and David Goring came up with the idea. All the tricks were pretty much created by me, but David Goring really did all the work here. He made this little genius gizmo, and it's pretty neat. Now here's a method to do, you know that thing, the big move covers a small move thing? You put your finger here, and as you go up, you've just done the switch. So there's the king, and then you go up, and now you've got aces, and that's all 4 of them. Okay, so that's the exchange. Now, Tomas, you did a really cool flourish. I learned this from a video called Show Off, and it's Brian Tudor's. Okay, so what you're doing is this Aaron Fisher pop-out move. It looks like this. Okay, so it's a one-handed pop-out.
And super easy.
Is it hard to do? I don't know. I learned it in the paper engine book.
It is. It's hard to do. Yeah.
It's hard to do. You push it to the side, although I think I could do it without pushing it to the side. There you go. Anyway, you push it to the side, and your pinky, and your finger lifts it up, and you just pinky. I do really bad at explaining it, and maybe I don't know if I should because it's Aaron's move, but I do it on the exchange deck. He's a great magician, Aaron.
Yep.
You lift this up. Your pinky and your fingers kind of lever it in the gap. That's the first step, right? Now you move this over to your thumb crotch. I like saying that. And then what you're going to do is your thumb is going to open up the top card as your bottom fingers. I should have explained the setup before I did this. As your bottom finger pushes out the king, and it kind of looks like they just kind of blossom like a flower. So the setup is, sorry guys, it's a face-up king, and you put a face-down king on top of it. Face-up king on the bottom, and then you put a face-down king. So face down, face up, face down, face up, right? Do the Aaron move, boom, pop-out move. Now move that to the thumb crotch, and then you lift up as you push, and now you've got the 4 kings. There's so many different, and the cool thing is you can do like a partial Sybil cut with the top stock. I still have that exchange deck. I'm not touching the bottom. And you'll know when you touch the bottom because all of a sudden you're like, ah, because you can't move anywhere. And that's really all there is to the exchange deck. So now you know how to make one if you want to make one, or you can always purchase one online.
Can you show how long the thread actually is?
Sure.
The question is for anybody at home, can you show how long the thread is?
Yes, I can show you how long it is. It's about this long. No, it's, I don't really know. Maybe my pinky's length? How long is your pinky, Tomas? I don't know. Okay, what is that? That's like 10 inches right there. You lift.
Length of a car.
Length of a car. Very good, thank you. He speaks. He's so quiet, and then he says something. Okay. Oh, it's 3/4 of a card length. And then it's, I don't know what the formula glue we use at Fun. It's just basically like, glue. Just glue it. And that's it. Good question. Good question. Any other questions, comments, suggestions? Okay, let's do
We had a question come in, and I knew it was going to happen.
Uh-oh.
I knew it was going to happen, and it happened.
She was 18, I swear.
Here's the question verbatim. Soda can trick?
Okay. That's why I have 2 cans. Okay, soda can trick. Did that really come in?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I get a close-up on my ass, please? Okay, you ready? And sorry, because I spilled a bottle of Rogaine, and I sat on it the other day. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so now, can you guys see? So now you get your can. I love this. Oh, I can see it. There you go. Okay. So now you go the can behind. You put it by your pooper, and then you get your finger, and you with one finger you open the soda can while you're bending your legs. So here we go. Oh yeah, and then now here's the real work. You don't want to come out like this because they'll think that you opened it with your finger, right? So what you do is a nice little subtlety. Okay, I'm going back now, and then you do this. See? Instead of doing this, right? Your hand comes out like that. Okay, so there you go. There's the soda trick. Yay! Okay, so now, if I could get Jack, you want to come back up here? Sure, mister. Okay, here comes Jack. You guys clap for Jack. Okay. So, what you're going to do is you take a napkin. You guys know how to cut up the napkin. No, they're going to be like, how do you tear up those napkins? So, let me get my napkin. By the way, I'm not making fun of the person who made, just in case he goes on the Magic Cafe and says, he made fun of me for asking about the can trick. So it's good to be thorough and everything. That's right. Okay. How you doing? Good?
Yeah, great.
Okay.
What
What was that?
Yeah, is there a DVD that we can get on the soda can trick?
It could be.
No, on the tissue paper.
Oh, okay.
On the tissue
Yeah,
paper.
the tissue paper.
So what I'm doing is I'm tearing the tissue paper. Okay? Here's Tomas tearing the paper. All right. Okay. Right? So now you got an extra piece. Here's basically what you need for this whole trick. There's a lot of stuff. A shot glass. 2 corks that you can get. You know what these are from? How do you know that? And then you get these little balls with sweaters on them. You can get them at a magic shop. So here's the prop management. Okay, and then you got to get yourself another fully restored napkin. Okay, so that's all you need, and then so that's what you need to do a magic show. So this I do in restaurants all the time. This was put on my At the Table DVD, At the Table was a production that was suggested by the previous owner of Fun Incorporated, Graham Putnam. He wanted to put together like a tricks to do with friends when you're out at a bar.
Yeah.
Okay. And man, you are so tall. Come over here. Are you taller than I am?
Yeah.
Nope. So what you're going to do is you're going to you put these two inside here in your left pocket, right? You put the two corks in your left pocket. You take the little ball of all, and you put it in your right pocket, and then you take the napkin that I just tore up. This shot glass goes away for now. They don't know that's coming out. And then you've got the extra piece. So here's what you do. You're going to do chink-a-chink. Chink-a-chink I learned out of the Mark Wilson book. And it's like this. You have the extra piece. Your hand goes up to the upper right. And it's really easy to palm tissue balls of paper because they're like big and round, and you just hold on to them, right? So your hand goes on the upper right-hand corner, the bottom left. You pick this up as you let go of the top right, and your hand comes and relaxes. Now notice you relax at the edge of the table, and you got the little ball there. Now your right hand goes and gets this bottom one here, and you're going to palm as you bring this one up and add it, and it looks like it just traveled, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Now this one's going to go up to the upper right. You're going to drop this, all right? Just put those cards on the floor by the other ones. And then you're going to lift this one up. And then now apparently it's traveled over to there. Now you got three. Now you come down. Now your hand's going to cross over with this extra piece. As you cross over, you pick up, you just added one. Now they've got four. You say, I'm going to put this one away. What you're really doing is you're going into your pocket and you're pulling out the large one. And make sure you pull out the large one and you don't pull out your lighter. I'm just kidding. So now you take the ball, you hold it here, right? And then you say, hold on to these three. Okay, a little verbal misdirection. Squeeze real tight. Now I've got the restored piece right here. And then you set this down on your hand and say, open your hand, and they count, and there's four. Now, meanwhile, what Tomas is doing is I gather these up. Everybody thinks the trick is over. I do like a shuttle pass, boop, and now I add these, so I go like this. And now my hand, now if you're behind a table, like at the restaurant, I just let all the pieces fall, right? And that's what I did here. I let them all fall. Now I hand you these. You think that there's four there. It's really restored. I say open up, and now you unravel those, and it's apparently restored, right? So now, end of trick one. This is a perfect trick for a restaurant because maybe you don't have enough time. Maybe the food comes by, and you could just end there. But this trick keeps going, right? So now you got yourself a shot glass, and you're going to do the trick with the red ball. So what you're going to do is a false transfer. I got this from Frank Zach, a great bar magician in Vegas. You hold on to that. Now you lever that up, and it's underneath. And it really, did you guys fall for it? Some people do? No? No. Okay. Did you fall for it?
I did when I started.
You did it. If you're doing it for the person, they fall for it. Really, you can't really go wrong with this, because if you catch me, that's great. But there's still some people who, in the audience, who'll gasp. So you do a false transfer. You hand this over. You lever this up, and then you open your hand, and it's gone. Now you say, where'd it go? You look at them. All eye contact. You don't want to do this. You don't want to go like, because then they know what you're looking at. It's all, you look them in the face like, hey, what's going on, man? And then you open your hands, it's gone, and then you say, you know where it went? And then you say no, and then you go, look, it's under the shot glass. And all your focus is, and that's a weird moment when you look and it's there. That's magic. Now, you say, you want to see that again? They're like, sure, I'll see that again. Now you wrap, because they think they're going to bust you. So you wrap the napkin. Now you're going to do that old vanishing salt shaker bit. You wrap the napkin around the glass, okay? You twist it on the top. Now you're going to do those classic chop cut moves, but you're going to challenge them first. Or you say, where do you think it is? Now, you leave it under the glass, right? You leave your hand like that so they think it's in there. You have your hands touch, right? Or it could go in my pocket. But what you're doing really is you're grabbing the ball, okay? So now, you say, they say, whatever they say, the hand. You go, nope, sorry, it's under the glass. If they say the pocket, you say, nope, sorry, it's under the glass. If they say the glass, you say, you're right. You lift it up. Now you go back and you just do the chop cut moves, right? And you do all the false transfers. It's really here. And you just keep adding them. These are all chop cut moves. You put them away, right? You lift it up. There it is. You keep adding the ball. You can keep doing that. False transfer. And then you come back. Blah, blah. Now you're going to add that cork, right? Put the ball away and you grab the cork from the Boone's Farm that you were drinking earlier. And you come over. BYOB, bring your own Boone's Farm. So you lift this up and then you add the cork. Boom. Now you add the cork. Then you give a phony explanation. You want to learn how it works? Say, and I got this out of the jigger knot routine. Do you know what a jigger is?
No.
Okay, see? Good boy. Jiggers, you get them at a bar. Mark Ginestu, I think, is a really great magician and funny guy. He had a trick called, or he still has a trick called jigger knot. And it's this thing that you use to measure when bartenders, when they measure liquor.
Yeah.
Okay, you're talking too much because people want to know. It's 14, you're not supposed to know this. But I didn't know what a jigger was. But anyway, you bring that out, and some people don't know what it is, you know. So what I did was I developed the same pattern line because I like the cork ending, but I applied it to this routine. Okay. So I'm going to pretend to put it in my pocket, but really what you're doing is you are putting it in your pocket and you're grabbing the second cork. Okay. And you pick up the second cork. Got to have good prop management on this one. Where's my second cork? Oh, there it is. Now, then you say, and then when you're not looking, you sneak it under. And then they go, oh, he got me again. When you lift it, if you're buying that phony baloney jargon, and this is straight out of Mark Ginestu's trick, you lift it up, you might put a cork in it. Now you come back, you load the second cork. They're not expecting a second one. Then you say, oh, and I think you might be seeing double. You lift it up. Now, what you're going to do is you're just going to ditch the glass. Okay? And because I'm twerpy, when I walk up to these tabletop bar, it comes up direct to my chest, you know. So I'm like, hi. But if you're not working like that, I'll show you how to do that too. Okay, so you lift it up and your hand kind of, it's like the Schultz shaker trick. You kind of let it drop in your lap. Okay, and then that's when you smash it. Now you can also do it like this. And I'm gonna Jack, move over. You're too tall. Come back that way because you're making me look bad. Okay, have a seat. Everybody, clap for Jack! Yay! So now what you do when you lift this up. Okay. Oh, there's a fly! Look! Get a close-up on that. What should I do? Let's take a penguin vote.
Be a ninja.
Online people, should I kill the fly or should I let it live?
Do it.
Oh my God! That was worth the $25 right there. What happened? Damn, that was really good. That was awesome. Oh,
I figure, okay, this is what...
No, it's still alive!
That's another one.
He's Jason. Oh, that's his brother.
Yeah, that's another one.
Oh, my God.
That's the one that's annoying right
That
there.
was awesome. I'm going to have to
I
buy
figure
it.
you give the fly a fighting chance, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If it doesn't see that coming...
That was really good. All right. Okay. So now you make sure you don't got anything in your pockets.
Christopher Cavanaugh wanted us to eat the fly.
Eat the fly.
which I think is probably a good idea. If the big one lands, we'll eat it.
So you lift this up, right? And then you go, and you should put a cork in it. You go back. Let's see, how should I do this? We'll go like this. You go back, and then you let it drop in your pocket. Now make sure there's nothing in the pocket, right? Or else you blink. But you just go back, you let it drop in your pocket, and now you've ditched it without a tabletop. But you just go back, and then just let it drop in. And squish, and that's it. You're done. And you just did a multiple-phase restaurant mini act that you can do at any time. All you need is and you don't have to stick with the cork. You can use whatever you want to fit inside that, I don't know, whatever you want to put inside dollar bills, something different. And that's that part of the set. There you go. Yay! Okay, here we go. Okay. Am I ready? Okay. Dan, tell a joke.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, here we go. I'm ready.
It takes me a while to think of a clean one.
Ready. I know. I was telling dirty jokes earlier when. Okay. Music. this live? There you go! Okay. Where you going this weekend, Tomas? Oh, I have to do a show with Mom. Got my condoms. All right. Okay, next trick. Got sugar packets. Okay. This one, history on this trick. I learned this from some drunk at a bar. I was showing him a trick. I had glasses with the longer stem, and I could shove the glasses up my nose. Big secret is that you just shove the glasses up your nose. That's all you do. Okay. So I showed it to this drunk, and he goes, "That's pretty cool. How'd you do that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's magic, you know. Let me show you a trick." And then he takes a knife, and he just cuts his thumb, and there's blood everywhere. And then he takes a napkin, and he wipes it clean, and there's no blood. There's no blood. So he's like, "I'll show you how I did this trick if you show me how you shove your glasses up your nose." And I'm like, "Well, I just shoved the glasses up my nose." So I'm like, "Okay, you ready for the secret? I just shoved my glasses up my nose." I go, "How you do yours?" He goes, "I just cut my thumb." So apparently the secret on that is that if you just, I won't even tell you because, because you'd probably try it. But anyway, so the guy showed me this trick, and we're gonna take some names here. I need the help of somebody from the audience. How about my friend over here? Come on over this way, my friend. What's your name? Travis. Travis, nice to meet you, Travis. Woo. Travis, we're gonna write some names on the salt packet, okay, or the sugar packet. We're gonna put down different names. Okay, do you guys see that? Okay, there's the first one. It says Fearson. Okay. Okay, and the next name is Doug. There's Doug. Okay. And the next one is Andrew. Okay. So we've got all these names. This is what I want you to do. I want you to pick a name. Okay. The other two, switch their positions. Right?
Okay.
And then turn them all over.
Okay.
Okay. But you just pick a name. Let's say you pick Doug. The other two, you switch the positions, and then you turn them over. Got it?
Gotcha.
Okay. And then tell me when you're done, because last time I was facing the wall here for an hour. Are you done?
Yes.
Do you remember which one you picked?
Yes.
Did you turn them all over so I can't see?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm kind of tough. I'm from the streets. Did you ever? Why are you laughing? I'm tough. Ask me how tough.
How tough?
I'm so tough when I break dance, I break everything. Ask me how tough I am.
How tough are you?
I'm so tough. I go up to the Incredible Hulk. I say, "Incredible Hulk, you're not incredible. You're just stupid." Because I'm tough.
It's pretty tough.
Ask me how tough I am.
How tough are you?
I'm so tough. When I go into a fish shop and they ask me if I want my fish battered, I say, "No, I'll beat it up myself." Because I'm kind of tough.
It's pretty tough.
Ask me how tough I
How
am.
tough are you?
I use generic toilet paper, 1 ply.
Oh.
Ask me how tough I
How
am.
tough are you?
I am so tough. Let's see. That's another one. I haven't told these jokes in a while. Oh, and my girlfriend said she didn't want to see me anymore. I just poked her in the eyes. All right. Do you remember which one you picked?
Yes.
All right. Kind of mix them up like they do in the streets. You know where I'm from? Because I'm tough. All right. Do you remember your name?
Yes.
Okay. Not your name, but you remember.
Sure.
Okay. McPherson.
That was it.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Now that I have you here, I have one more trick. Oh, gosh. Where do they go? I thought I had everything. Give them a round. Oh, here it is. Okay. Gosh. Okay. Breath mints. Can you, I'm going to take off. You know, people think I look better without my glasses on, and then I say, you know what, you look better without my glasses on, too. Can you take 4 breath mints and put them in my hand, please? You can have one if you want.
Oh, good. I love breath mints.
They're great. Just have, you know, next one? The body of Tomas Amen. All right. How many do you see?
4.
Okay. Now, I used to be, right around the time where I was going to college, I met a friend of mine named Mark Fay, who was in the Jim Rose Circus Sideshow, and he did an offshoot with a guy named William Dark. And for around 3 years of my life, I would tour with these guys, and we'd open up for a lot of rock bands. And it was like in the 90s, the rock and roll freak show sideshows were popular, and that's what we were doing. We opened up for a lot of cool bands, and there was a guy who was a knife thrower. Mark is one of the most talented people on the planet. And then there's another guy, he could stick needles through his face and he wouldn't die. There was another guy who's like a fire eater, and then another guy named T2, the One-Eyed Man. This guy, it's kind of unfortunate, he had sinus cancer, but they removed his eye. He beat the cancer, but they had to take his eye in the top of his mouth so he could stick his tongue out of his eye, which was a really good party trick. And so I was the magician in the crowd, and what I had to do was I would choose, they didn't want magic, but I would do tricks that looked real, but really were, you know, kind of like a sideshow. They were magic tricks, but they looked real. Does that make sense? So I would do the Tom Mullica cigarette eating, and then I would do the balloon swallow, I'd do the razor blades, and I would do this trick here. So that's a little backstory on the tic-tac trick. So let me do the trick for you. So anybody could do this. Not a lot of people want to. Okay, you put some spit on there. The reason I put spit is I usually have water, but I'm so friggin' all over the place. Water is, like spit is a really good way to kill the germs because the spit gets in the germs' eyes so they can't see where they're going, so they lunge at each other. Fun fact. So what you're going to do, and how many do you see? How many do you see here?
3.
Okay, and then this one's going to go. Okay, and it's just like my friend T2, like all the sinuses are connected. So you give it a little push. Okay, hold the applause. Oh, you were. Okay. How many are there?
1.
Okay, and then how many are here?
2.
Okay, this one goes in the right eye. Now when I do this, remember 3 things. 911. Okay. If you thought the eyes were funny, how many do you see here?
1.
Okay, and then here?
1.
Okay, this one goes up the nose. Okay. And how many are there?
1.
The mouth. Okay, we're going to bring them back. Come on over this way. Okay. Hold on to my cup. Okay. Here we go. The left eye. Number 1, yay, magic. Number 2. That almost went past my heart and chest cavities and deep into my fallopian tube. I would have been a goner. Number 3, and my parents are cousins. And the 4th one, there you go, the tic-tac trick. Thank you. Well, cool. Round of applause for my buddy. Thank you very much. Of course, Travis, I'm kind of like the rope trick where I always like to use the same rope. I always like to reuse my Tic Tacs to make sure that everything is okay. You're a really good sport. Can I give you a little souvenir for helping me out?
Sure.
How about a watch? That's not your watch? That's mine. I didn't even feel that come off my wrist. I'm that good. Okay. So here's my set. I did the condom trick. Okay. Are you okay? Okay. You're not okay. Okay. So here's what you need. You need. Can I borrow your water?
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. So you gotta I messed up on this, but it's okay. Nobody's perfect. Okay, it goes inside the back pocket here. Okay, a lot of butt shots today. Okay, and then, okay, so what you're going to need is flash paper. Okay, you get yourself a condom. I got another piece of flash paper right here. Okay, now this is how Tom Mullica would produce a cigarette. So, but instead I produce a condom. So this goes in your pocket right here. Oh, and you're going to need a shot glass. Okay. Okay, shot glass. And then you're going to need Alka-Seltzer. So this cost me, all this Alka-Seltzer, like there's like 36 in here, cost me $2. That's a bargain. That's a bargain. Okay, so now you got the Alka-Seltzer tablet. Okay, so now here's how you do the trick. You take your salt, you roll this up, right? There's nothing in your hand. You got your lighter in your right pocket. Okay, you can do this to music. This is a trick, it was told to me on the phone by a magician, Barry Shore, told me about it, from Presto Magic in Arizona. And I believe this was done by, oh gosh, I hope it's Pip Turkin. Is that right, Dan? Do you know? This gentleman, he was Harry Anderson's buddy. Anyway, I think he did this trick, but it's music. It's all about the music. So I do it to Superman. I think he does it to a different one, a different song. But you go in your pocket and you pretend like you're looking for something, which is your lighter, right? But really you grab the condom, right? And then you got it here. The condom's in your hand. Now you go in your pocket and you get yourself a lighter. And then you light the lighter. And now fire appears. And then you've got the condom package. Looks pretty good, right? Now, you open this up. People wonder, what's that? It's a condom, right? This is actually the only condom trick that I do. I used to do the one where you snort it up the nose and cough it out the mouth. And if you're ever going to do that trick, but I'm not going to teach that, but if you're going to do that, here's a tip. Use the spermicide does not taste good. So you want to use like a banana-scented or a mint one. In fact, one time I was doing a show, and I went into this restroom because I didn't have any of these guys. So I went in the restroom, and you put the money in the restroom, put it in the thing, because I wanted to get the banana scented, and I'm putting the money in, and then all I'm getting are the spermicide one. I'm like, what? And I'm putting it in the section with the banana scent. So then I go to the spermicide, and I'm putting that, and it's all spermicide, and I go to the guy in the front desk, I go, hey man, listen, do you got any banana scented ones in there? Because I just spent like $10 and there's no banana scent. And he goes, what's the difference? And I'm like, the taste. True story. Okay, so now you unravel this. Now you're going to do the bottle production, which I put on my At the Table DVD, and I actually succeeded at it. Okay, so, and also I have all this stuff because I'm wired and all that. But what you're doing is you take off your jacket, and you're going to produce a bottle. Okay, now you can use a beer bottle, you can use anything that's a bottle. You can have a drinking glass. And what it's supposed to look like is this. Okay, I'll do the performance. You take it off, and then you produce the bottle. That's what it's supposed to look like, okay? Now, also, I just noticed my hand was extra greasy because of the condom. That was why it slipped out of my hand. So if you're going to do this, maybe don't use the greasy rubbers. Greasy rubbers, that's a good band name. Let's do it. You play bass, Dan.
All right.
All right.
I'm in.
And our opening, Greasy Rubbers and Brass Cubio. That is my... Brass Cubio, you know that magic trick, the Brass Cubio? That's a good name for a band, too. Or the Penetration Frame. That's another good band name. Okay. All right. So you take off your jacket. You got your bottle here. Now, David Ginn called me up. David Ginn goes, hey, this is David Ginn. And he goes, you know who? I love that trick that you did, but that's my trick. And actually, David Ginn says that he created this trick. He says he showed it to Pat Page. And incidentally, I learned it from a Pat Page book or something like that. I can't remember where I learned it from, but apparently it goes back to David Ginn. The kid show guy does this trick. So you take off your jacket. So if it's in your right back pocket, you take off your left one first, your left shoulder. Now you have all this cover in the world where it goes right in front of you. Your hand, there's a lot of ass on this lecture. And you just pull the bottle out as you turn it inside out. You turn your sleeve inside out. It goes along for the ride. Take it out. Oh my gosh, did my roll-on roll off? Look at that. That is so gross. And so now you produce the bottle of water. Okay? Now, all this to the music. So you got to make sure you pick music that's long enough. Right? now what you're going to do is just science. You got all this stuff. Let's clean up our mess here. Put that away. Okay. Now, you drop the Alka-Seltzer tablet in there, right? You put a little bit of the water or inside, little dab will do you. And then you just put the condom over it, and because of science, it's kind of funny. Now, sometimes you got to get the facial expressions going, you wait, and what's happening is the Alka-Seltzer gases that fly. I'm going to knock him. I'm going to dick slap that fly. Okay, so now it's inflating, right? And it's just going up by itself. Is this going to be rated PG, this lecture? I don't. And could you imagine if a kid like downloaded this and his mom walks in his room? What are you watching? Magic show? Okay, now. So now what you do is you watch this. You just let go, and it flies. Sometimes you can get it to shoot up, and you catch it, and there you go. And I work a lot of burlesque shows in Chicago. Gee, really? And this is one that really works well in the burlesque show, and that is the condom trick. Yay! All right. So now the next trick here is the one that the drunk guy showed me. Okay. So you get sugar packets, or you can write on anything. You don't have to write on sugar packets. You can do playing cards. Okay. In fact, why don't we use playing cards for this? Oh no, we can use the names. Do these show up good on camera? I think they do. All right. So you get any names. You're out with some friends. And here's how it works. Now, I'm going to explain to you. Oh, I got to give you back your water. I'm sorry. There you go. Okay. So here, it's slippery. Sorry, there's like... It does smell like spermicide. Yes, it does. So, but then inoxidil number 9 knocks anything right out. Seriously. That's the ones to get. And then an inoxidil number... I mean, you can go with an elephant and everything's okay. So you just write down some names on there, and then they come up to you, and you explain to them this. And this is good. You have to have good audience management. You have to tell them what you want them to do. So you basically do this. You say, I want you to remember one, right? So, and you got to show them. The other one, let's say you remember Fearson, okay? The other two, Doug and Andrew, you switch their positions, and then you turn them over. And you show them every scenario possible. Let's say you pick this one. You switch the other two, and then you turn them over, okay? That way, you don't want people confused. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to turn around, and you're going to repeat one of the, you're going to I always memorize the middle one, okay? So I say to myself, Andrew is in the middle, Andrew is in the middle, Andrew's in the middle, Andrew's in the middle, okay? I'm saying that as my back is turned. The spectator, let's say they pick Andrew, okay? They switch the other two, and then they turn them over. And I say, did you turn them over? When I turn around, I'm saying to myself, Andrew's in the middle, Andrew's in the middle, Andrew's in the... I don't know if they switched it. I don't care, okay? Can I get a close-up on my face for this one? You guys, listen. I'm going to explain to you how to do this. Don't even bother figuring out why it works. Just forget it. Just do what I tell you. Okay? Okay, close up on the sugar packets now. So I'm saying Andrew's in the middle. Now, then I have them, move them around. But all I'm doing is I'm following the middle one. Okay? So now I pick it up. Now, here's rule number 1. If you say to yourself, Andrew's in the middle, or the name of the thing, or the card, or whatever, someone says in the middle, Andrew's in the middle, and you pick it up, and it's Andrew, that means that's the one they picked. Okay? Got it?
Got it.
Now, let's say they don't pick Andrew. They pick Fearson, right? You switch these two. You turn them over. Now you say to yourself, Andrew's in the middle, 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 right? You follow this one, right? You pick it up. Now here's rule number 2 and the last rule, and this is all you have to remember. If you say to yourself, Andrew's in the middle, it's not going to, and you look at it, and it's not Andrew, it's Doug. It's not going to be Doug, the one you're holding. It's not going to be that. And it's not going to be the one that you're chanting in your head. Okay? Got it? Mm-hmm. It's going to be the one that they didn't name, which is the one they chose, which is Fearson. I fooled myself. Okay? So, again, if you chant yourself, Andrew's in the middle, Andrew's in the middle, Andrew's in the middle, you lift it up, and it is, that's scenario 1. If you say to yourself, Andrew's in the middle, you lift it up. It's not going to be the one you're saying in your head. It's not going to be the one that's in your hand. It's going to be the one that's on the table. The other one that you weren't chanting. So it's not going to be the one in your hand. It's not going to be Andrew. It's going to be the other guy. Any questions on this trick? It's clever. I think this is a very good trick. And I did some research. I showed it to my friend Tim Felix, and he found out who it belonged to. It's actually a Bob Hummer trick. And there it is. It's the trick with the sugar packets. Yay. So now, the next one is the Tic Tac trick. Now this trick is really, I mean, Pax, talk about Pax Flat plays really big. I've done rock concerts with this trick. I've done up close. I learned it from the Encyclopedia of Impromptu Magic. I'll tell you some quick stories about this trick. Once I was doing a show in Chicagoland, and it was a bunch of acts, and I go on, I do this trick, and I go in the back room, and then someone goes, oh wow, someone just passed out in the audience, and I go, oh wow, that's awful. And I'm thinking, I didn't think I had anything to do with it. So later I find out it was this dude who took a girl out on a blind date. They met on the internet or something, and it was their very first date, and apparently he doesn't like gross stuff. So when I was doing this Tic Tac trick, he totally passed out on their first date. And the ambulance came, and then, what I find out is they eventually wound up getting married. Seriously, it's a true story. Another story on this trick is I was doing this, because I used to be a karaoke superstar, and I do a really mean David Bowie China Girl, and I was up there rocking the house, and I would be there, like, it's funny, karaoke bars, let me tell you about karaoke bars. I would go to these karaoke bars, and I'd be like, look at that dude. That dude has a desk job that he hates, and he can't wait to come to this bar and sing that song. That guy's a loser. And then you know what happened? I was that loser. So I would go there every night and just belt out some tunes. And one night it was like talent night, so I'm like, wow. And nobody knew, believe it or not, nobody knew that I did magic, so I did the Tic Tac trick. Fast forward, like 15 years later, I'm doing a show at another bar, and this girl that I know brought her brand new boyfriend to the show, and he approaches me and he says, oh my gosh, I saw you 15 years ago at a bar, and you did this trick with breath mints. My band, we thought you were this creepy kid who just did this, and we wrote a song about you. And I have the song. I should have brought it. It was such a great song, and it was really good. And you know what? Maybe somehow I'll have to get it to you guys. But it's a really, really great song about the Tic Tac trick, and it's a real song. And they work. So it's about this. Anyway, another time I'm working a show. I meet this guy, and he sends me an email. He says, "Hello from another gay magician," and I'm like, well. I'm not gay, but I'm like, hi there. And so he's explaining to me a situation. He's like, hey, look, I'm going to do this show called Chicago Gays Got Talent. I have the zigzag. I want to know, because it's meant for, can you go be the dude that could fit in this box? It's basically the zigzag trick. Instead of a woman on the box, it's a painting of a burly beefcake dude, right? So I'm like, fine. So I go to this gay bar with this guy. He puts me in this box, and they've got like these judges. There's like a tranny, and there's like another dude, and they're the judges, right? So they're playing Macho Man, and I'm in there, Macho Man, and the dude, apparently, he doesn't really practice the trick that much. He actually put it together. He brought the zigzag in a cab on his way to the bar. So he hammered the thing together at the show. I got in, and I'm stuck. The thing wouldn't zig or zag. I'm stuck in the box. I can't get out. They're playing Macho Man, which is a really long song. And it's going, Macho Man, I'm stuck in there. And then the guy, he's like in tears, like, oh, sorry, I'm sorry, I don't even know. I'm like, just get me out. So he gets me out, and then the judges are like, what happened? Because they didn't see anything happen. I was just stuck in there. And then they're like, word got out that I'm a magician. I did this trick, and then I wound up winning Chicago Gays Got Talent. There you go. So there's a lot of cool stories with this trick, and here's what you do. You get yourself some Tic Tacs. I got this idea from my friend Michael Mode, great magician, Mr. Napkin Rose, and he offers a Tic Tac to the spectator. And then the spectator eats it. At the end, you get that callback gag where I always like to reuse my Tic Tacs, which I really do. So anyway, what you're doing is you're one ahead. It's very easy to do. You pretend like you're picking up one, but you're going to pick up two, and you use the Harry Anderson line about, you don't have, I just lifted it from Harry, but he basically talks about the spit getting in the germ's eyes, and that's perfect as for a reason to use the spit. So I pick up two, I leave one in my mouth, okay, in the tongue palm, all right? Now this goes on the top, and you're basically going to do like a little lapping, but it's going to go in your fist. So what I'm going to do is, it looks like I'm going to pick it up, but it's not. I just kicked it back into my fist. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. Okay, as you go, whoops, as you go back, you just kick it back in. And then people really do think it's here. And I go, how many do I got there? 1. And how many are here? And I show them 3, right? And then you tell the story about, shoving them in your eye. So you do 1 at a time. 1. And another side note, I normally don't use green. I was just lazy. But you use the white one because the color or whatever, the coloring will get off of that. And you'll get it on your fingers. You'll get it on your eye. And also, too, it just, it just looks weird when you spit them out and now it's not discolored. You just want to make them all the same color. But anyway, you don't have to use white, but I just like to use white. Now, they think you got 1 in your eye. You take 2, lick, leave it in your mouth. Now, for those of you playing at home, there's 2 in there. Now you put this here. You do the same move again. Kick it back into your fist. You open your hand. You show 2, and they go, yeah. You put it in this one. Okay, now the best one is the last one, or the best one is the third one that goes in the nose. You pick up 2. They think there's 1. Pretend to lick it. Now, I got 3. You put this one here. Now what you're going to do is you're going to kick it back as you go. I got 1 here and 1 here. And it's perfect. I mean, it's so good. People really do think that you are holding 1. In fact, one guy at a photo, I was doing a show, and the photographer in the show was like, hey, after the show, can I get a picture of you with the Tic Tac stuck in your eye? And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I made sure to bolt out of there because, I can't do that. Because, again, kids, you're not really shoving these things in your face, okay? It's just a trick. So just watch this thing and practice it, and people, you know what I mean? And careful who you do this for. Because if you do it for a little kid, he's going to shove stuff in his face, and then they're going to sue me. So just watch what you're doing. All right, so now you pick up the last one, you lick it, leave it on your hand, right? And you put it in your mouth. Now, when you spit them out, you can just spit them out in your hand, but I always like to use something that makes a good clink sound, so you can use a tray, or you can use a shot glass, or you can use the cups from the Cups and Balls, or whatever. I just picked up my cup from the Cups and Balls, and look what's inside. That'd be a great final load. What? Okay, so then you go, and you just keep doing it. You do all the faces. The only thing I think I've really added to this are all the... when I'm gagging, I'm really a method gagger. I think of something that makes me gag. Like, for example, once I was doing the trick where I shoved the condom up my nose and pull it out my mouth, and it was a hot summer day, and I did like 7 shows that day, and I had a cold. And so and it got stuck back there, and I was, even thinking about it making me, oh my gosh. Anyways, that's what I think of in my brain. Or the time I went into the Best Buy restroom, and I don't even know what happened, but there was stuff all over the walls. Oh my gosh. And the sign on the wall, on the door, on the bathroom door said, "Do not enter." And I'm like, what could be so wrong? I went in, and it's all everywhere. So then you just basically, you get the gags going. Oh, that Best Buy restroom. And then you spit them out 1 at a time. And then apparently you just inhaled the Tic Tac, put them in your face. They all came out your mouth. It's extremely, people actually believe this. I've had educated people like doctors believe that I really did this. Same thing with the balloon swallowing. They think that you really did do that. So you have to choose your audiences wisely when you do a lot of these geek magic tricks, because you could find yourself, people getting, people actually wanting to try that and getting hurt. So that's the Tic Tac trick. Let's see, anything else on this? Any questions, comments? I think that's basically it. All right, so the next one, I think this one here. This is a trick that I learned for my next set. I learned this out of a book. Oh, man. See, condoms are really gooey. There's stuff everywhere. Okay. Music! Okay. Okay, so this was out of the Tricks for Your Head book. All right. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, you get yourself straws. Now, I was so worried that I didn't. When I got here, when I got on the plane, I'm like, oh, I don't have any straws. So then I went to the Burger King. I got like so many. Okay, so you just go when they're not looking. You take some, and then you're going to get yourself some double stick tape. Okay. So here's what you're going to do. Before the show, to set this up, you just push the straw down. You're just going to pull. Careful that it doesn't tear, but you're going to pull this down, scrunch them down like you're taking off really hard to take off socks. Trying to relate here. Okay, it goes all the way down like this. Okay. Hey, what's the difference between a church, a school, and a Taliban hideout? I don't know either. I just fly the drone. Okay, here we go. So you take these down, right? So that's how you set up for the trick. And you scrunch this down like this, like a little ball. Okay, got it? So now you have double stick tape. You put it on the back of your nail. I learned this from a Martin Lewis video, and it was torn sword cigarette paper. Okay, so now this is on the back of your thumb. You walk up, you got it like this. Okay, now tear it off. Leave the straw in your mouth, and you just tear little pieces. Whoops. See, now if you normally the double stick tape sticks on your thumb, but when you're working with greasy condoms, okay. So now what you're going to do is you got this. Now that's a bad angle. You could see that. So you got to watch your angles. Basically, if you look at the ball, everything is good. So you just keep your eye on the thumb piece. You ball it up. Now you're going to do the switcheroo. So you take the already my thumb. You take the pieces here. So these are the torn up pieces. This is the one that you took out. You know, the one that's scrunched down. Now, you have this. Okay? So you got to watch your angles. So now you just got one ball. Okay? But really, you got this going on. Now, okay, you just kind of close up your hand and you just take the straw out of your mouth. Put the straw in your pocket as you ditch the piece. This goes in your nose. Now, kids, don't shove it too hard up there, okay? Don't go up to the third knuckle. Maybe like the first nail. It goes up, and you leave it to protrude there. Now, all you're going to do is pinch your nostril as you pull out the piece of paper. And it looks like it's just growing out of your nose. And that is the booger restoration. Yay. There's one day someone approached me, this girl at a TGI Fridays waitress. She goes, "You look just like Hal Sparks." And I was like, "Who's that?" Because I usually get Rick Moranis. And apparently this guy, Hal Sparks, he was on a TV show called Talk Soup. He's actually pretty famous. He's a comedian, really funny guy. He was on a show called Queer as Folk. And he was on a TV show called Celebricadabra. But even before he was on that TV show, I just emailed him. Even though I didn't really know his work, I just like, "Dear Hal Sparks," I was like, "Hey, normally I look like Rick Moranis, but this hot TGI Fridays babe was obsessed with you. She thought that I looked like you, so thanks for that, you know." And then I was like, "Oh, by the way, I'm in this DVD called Geek Magic." And so anyway, so I don't even think he saw the email that I sent him. But then years later, Hal gets hired to do Celebricadabra, and I think he won. Maybe. I don't know. Does anybody know who won? I don't know. But I think he won. And it was a VH1 TV show where they had celebrities being taught math. It was like a pretty good show. And Rocco taught Hal how to do the tricks. Anyway, but Hal chose the booger restoration for Celebricadabra, and it was one of those bonus tricks that you can learn online, or that you could see him do online. So I was flattered, you know, and even mentioned he's a magician from Chicago does this trick. Well, that was me. I was the magician from Chicago. So, and he even said that if he was a magician, he would probably choose tricks that would be that look real but weren't. So that was flattering, I guess. Anyway, how you do the trick, the booger restoration. Now, I've got another trick that I want to show you. This is a, let's see, let's get somebody else. How about this guy right here? What's your name next to Jack?
Brady.
Brandy. Come on over this way, Brandy. Okay, stand. What's that?
Brady.
Brady. Sorry. Oh my gosh, these kids. Don't tell me you're 14 too. Are you 14?
Yeah.
Okay, put out your hands like this. Okay, a little higher. Okay. Oh, I see. You're wearing the Invisible Threads magician bracelet too. Do you see the Chinese coin?
Yeah.
Okay, turn your hand over. Watch my hand. Look. Oh. Okay. So let me explain to you how to do this. This is on my At the Table video, I do the coin under the watch. Sometimes people ask me, they say, Tomas, can you do the trick with me? And they're not wearing a watch. So I do it this way. Or let's say I miss on the coin under the watch, and they think that it's going to go under their watch, but then I get them where it goes on top of their hand. And trust me, this really does work. Okay, so you're going to do a false transfer. And you can do whatever fancy, flashy moves you want to do. Oops, gosh. Okay. It's hard to do a coin roll with condom grease on your hand. Okay. You can do one of those vanishes. That was cool. Look at that. Whoop. Does that look cool? So basically, you're just tossing it back into this hand and you close. But it looks good after you do. This is some Kainoa hard bottle stuff right here. So you make... That guy's awesome, by the way. I hung out with... Isn't he awesome?
Best one magician.
Isn't he the greatest? That guy, it's like getting kicked in the face by a horse, but in a good way. I saw him, and I was like, for the first time ever, like, you never, as a magician, you never, like, if you're palming something, you never go grab their hand. And I actually did that for the guy. Like, here's this pro, and he showed me a trick, and I'm like, and there's nothing there. It's gone. Okay, anyway. So anyway, now I'm in a roll. So there you go. So anyway, so you make whatever coin vanish you want. Now, they think it's here, but it's really here. And you wait, you kind of time it, because they're looking down, right? Brady, you're looking down.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you don't want to do this because they'll see it. So you go underneath. You hold their hand, and you turn your hand over, and then you tell them, now look at me, right? So he's looking at me,
Yeah.
right? And then you let go. Now, watch my hand. Now, Brady's going to watch my hand. Now, what I do is I've learned for the audience, I've learned to have my body kind of block the coin so it's a surprise for the audience, too. Really, this is a great one-on-one trick. It's gone, and then I go, now look, 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 and they'll follow your finger, and then, boom, it's on your hand. So let's do it again. Okay, watch my hand. Up and down. So this is a fun one. What do you got over here? It's a loop. Okay, what? Let your step as you go all the way back. All right, okay, so there's that. And then the last one I wanted to show you is Fun Incorporated. I'm on a whole bunch of releases. I'm on 9 releases with Fun. And here is a wonderful trick. This is probably one of the best cards. When I first got started doing card magic, I thought, okay, this is a great trick. Like, I was really thoroughly impressed. And it's a trick called McDonald's Aces. Are you guys familiar with McDonald's Aces? Any round of applause if you heard of this trick, McDonald's Aces? Okay. So McDonald's Aces was created by a man named One Arm McDonald. It was made, and so the guy had one arm, and he would do this trick. So if a guy with one arm could do this trick, you could pretty much do the trick too. Okay, so here's what trick. You got the aces, and let's get somebody here, somebody new. The kid in the back over there. Come on over this way, kid. What's your name?
David.
David. Whoa. He's not a kid. Did you hear that voice? Okay.
14 years.
Okay, how old are you?
14.
My gosh. Man. Okay. So, here's, oh man. David, you ever have one of those days? No, neither have I. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to take some cards, and I'm going to put them on each one of the aces. Where do you want me to put these 3 cards?
Ace of hearts.
Ace of hearts. Okay. What about these 3?
Ace of spades.
Ace of spades. What about these 3?
Ace of clubs. Ace of diamonds.
Okay. Okay. Which is your absolute, like, pick a favorite pack. Which is your favorite pack to use?
That one. Ace of
This
hearts.
one. Ace of hearts? Okay. Okay. Okay, leave those right there. Ace of hearts. Okay. Watch the ace of clubs. See it?
Mm-hmm.
Say toodles.
Toodles.
Look. Gone. That's the part you go, ooh. Thank you. Okay. Watch the ace of spades. Ready? Gone. Okay. Okay, watch the last one. You see the ace?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Okay, where do you think they went to? Yep. Take them out. There they are. Woo! Thank you, David. All right. So here's how it works. Okay, I have combined McDonald's aces with the exchange. So the exchange is a perfect cleanup for packet tricks and stuff. But what you get with McDonald's aces is you get double face cards. Now, you can always buy a whole double face deck if you'd like, or you can buy the McDonald's Aces DVD. But I'm going to show you. All you do is you don't have to use aces. You can use sevens, whatever. McDonald's Aces DVD comes with the cards, but I'm sure you could figure it out to go get double face cards, and that's basically it. Now, there's numerous handlings. I think there's different ways to change the indifferent cards into aces, and here's what I do. Okay, so before the show, you take the 4 real aces. Now, normally with McDonald's aces, you'd have to take one away of these double face cards. Okay, again, these are all double facers. Okay, normally with McDonald's aces, you'd have to take one away and then substitute it with one real back card, and then somehow Magician's Choice this as to being the leader packet. Or don't even say anything. Say, okay, where do you want these 3 cards to go? Okay, you hold on to this packet. Okay, but with this one, if you choose to use this method, you can start off with all the double facers on the table. Before the show, what you're going to do is you're going to stick these aces inside here, right? And you're going to put 3 on top, 3 on top, 3 on top, 3 on top. Now, they could legitimately pick where they want the cards to go, and then they could legitimately pick any one they want, any one of the packets. You don't have to force the packet on them. So now what you do is you take these 3 and you scoop up the final card on the table, right? And now you're going to put them in to do the big change, okay? So you riffle down past the 4 aces, okay? You put them in and you do that move, or the exchange. Okay, now you fan them all out. Now you've got the real 4 aces. Okay? Now what you're going to do is you're going to do a double lift. You do the double lift like this. Just turn over 2. Okay? Now you set a moment to pause. You set down this card. They think it's an ace, but really it's the indifferent card. The ace is on the back of here. And you just set them down. The first one's vanished. The next one, you do an Elmsley count. And if you don't know how to do an Elmsley count, just ask your neighbor. You just push that in. And now you're just going to... Oh, I'll give you a little tip. I took a lesson from a very famous magician that lives in Chicago. And he told me something about the Elmsley count. And I put out a DVD, too, called Card Magic Essentials. You wouldn't even know I'm on it. It's just my hands. But what it is the Poor Man's Daryl DVD set. That's like, I don't know, it retails for like $15 to $20. And it's like a mini pocket encyclopedia of all the necessary card moves. And I put this out many years ago. And it's through Fun Incorporated, Card Magic Essentials. And it's a wonderful little go-to guide at an affordable price of all the best card moves. And what I did was I just basically fished through books, and I teach several different ways to force a card, and I even teach the Elmsley count on there. And this is the good card handling magician from Chicago taught me how to do a good Elmsley count. So normally when I would do the Elmsley count, I would do it like this, and my fingers would move. You see how my fingers are moving? And apparently I don't know. I didn't really care, but that magician guy didn't like my Elmsley. He just was like, no, because there's too much movement in your fingers. So what he told me is you pinch and you just practice taking 1, 2, 3. I mean, all it is you pinch, and then you just try not to, you just say to yourself, don't friggin' move. And then you just take the first one off, you push off 2, you steal back the first one, and now there's 2 there, but really it's hiding, right? You take the third one, and then the last one, okay? So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And apparently that ace has vanished, okay? Now when you turn them over, it really is gone, because with the double facer, everything makes sense. Now the last one, this is a Lee Asher move, the Asher twist. I'm not the greatest at it. Lee really does it well. But for this one, I don't think, I mean, basically what you're doing is you take your pinky break here, and as you go in, you just fan out the 3, and your pinky turns it over. Lee does it, it's incredible. Tomas does it, it's a yawn, because whatever, I'm not good at it. But the McDonald's aces vanish. I think you don't even have to have a perfect Asher twist move to do this. So just basically, you just go in, and it's changed, right? In the DVD, there's a whole bunch of different vanishes. Like here's one. All right, I'm going to go a little closer. There's a trick called Flippant by Louis Simonoff, where he just, and it's with a regular deck, but with this, and what he'd do is he'd hold 2. Gosh, see if I can do Flippant. Okay, he would hold 2 together, break, and then you go, sorry, condom grease. Okay. Oh, my mic! Can you hear me? Yes. Sorry, guys. Okay. So you go, That's it. So you snap, and it falls down, and it turns over. So you're going to do that, but you're going to do that with 1 playing card. So it goes down, and it changes. Okay, but your hand goes down, and it changes. Okay, and it takes a little bit of a knack. Believe it or not, I haven't done it in years, but there's a lot of stuff on the DVD. There's a lot of appearance where you can make the cards appear. Ways to reveal the aces and ways to get into McDonald's aces, and that's basically it. So I think I got all the tricks in. Really do appreciate you guys caring, and I work my day job. I have a really cool day job. I work at Fun Incorporated, and I talk to just about every magic store owner in the world. I'm involved with the production of a lot of tricks, and the folks at Penguin have asked me, Dan, to show. Can I show like 2 tricks that Fun Incorporated has made? Do you guys have time? Can I show you some bonus stuff? Yeah. We have new things that Fun Inc. released. Okay, hold on. Got all this stuff. Okay, all right. Okay, I got all this swag. Okay, let's keep this here. Okay, first of all, Fun Incorporated's sister company is Invisible Threads, and these are all like stuff you can wear, and the owners of Fun. He really does. I didn't know there was that much of a science to clothing, but he really does know his stuff when it comes to the T-shirt, the washing, and they take a lot of time into designing a lot of these. And this is the famous edges. A lot of magicians like that. And this is a little beanie hat. This is a very cool design. This one here is a T-shirt. If you can see that, it says, it's like an eye chart. The hand is quicker than the eye. And then this one here, this is a Weiss Lock and Key. These are shirts. This shirt is, you don't have to be a magician really to wear this shirt. It's kind of like an inside joke on Houdini, like a locksmith and Eric Weiss, who was Houdini. And this one is my favorite. This is the Las Vegas. It's like a Vegas rabbit, but it's a top hat. That looks kind of cool. These are all designed by Andrew, or for the folks at Invisible Threads. This is the new one. This is the world premiere of the new Invisible Threads shirt. This one's really neat. It's Charlier Cuts Barbershop. See? And on the back, it says famous for the one-handed cut. Pretty neat, eh? So there's something. Thank you. That got applause.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, thank you. He's got also these things. Like, he puts out these weird things like this one's on the back. You never see the thing on the back? It says like "baby on board." He's got this one. It says "magician's assistant" and trunk. And for we have a special here at Invisible Threads. If you go on Invisible Threads clothing and you mention Penguin, just that's the promo code is Penguin, you'll get a little special something from them as a free gift from the Invisible Threads people. And they really do are givers. They do give a lot of good stuff. Here's a wonderful trick that Fun Ink put out. Okay. This is called Newton's Nightmare. And the packaging is outstanding. And it does a really neat little, it's mostly a science stunt. And I need somebody to help me out. What is your name, sir? Trevor. Everybody clap for Trevor. Okay. All right, Trevor. Okay, Trevor. All right. You see this? Look at the tube, look at everything, touch, feel, get to know, tease and tantalize. I don't know what that means, but all the magic kids say it. Okay, so here's the trick. You got to take this tube, right, and there's holes in there, and then you got to drop the pellet through, all right? And then with the same hand that you drop it through, you got to catch it. But you got to say, Penguin Magic Rocks. So you say, Penguin Magic Rocks, whoa. But you got to say it before you, it's pretty hard to do. Penguin Magic Rocks, but you got to catch it after. Can you do that?
Penguin Magic Rock.
No, you got to do it while before you say it as you drop it, and then you got to catch it.
Like say it while I'm doing it?
Yeah, while you're doing it. Ready?
Penguin Magic Rock.
Oh, see, it's tough. Quick, get it, Trevor. Okay, here, let me try it. Okay, ready? You just gotta know the magic. Okay. Yep, that's it. Penguin Magic Rocks. See? Everyone clap for my buddy Trev. Right. Now, Newton's Nightmare is actually a science thing. It's Lenz's law. This is an aluminum tube, and what I've done is I've taken a metal pellet and I've switched it out for this magnet. And for whatever reason, and I'm sure...
It induces an electrical current. That's good enough.
But he said. But this is how they stop roller coasters.
Yeah.
So you push it, you just let it drop, and it goes in slow motion. Okay. And the switch isn't anything hard. Like even if it drops, you pick it up, and then you just do a shuttle pass while you're talking. You drop it in, and you can just say Penguin Magic Rocks, and there you go. That's
I'll tell you what I used to do with this.
Yes.
And I think you'll sell a ton of them because I absolutely love this.
Do it.
All right. So give me which one of these? Is this the regular one?
That's the regular one.
All right. Okay. So you have somebody do the whole thing, and you say this here. Put your hand underneath. Yeah. I'm going to drop this into here. It's going to come through, and you catch it. All right. Now.
Okay.
Put your hands to your side. I'm going to count to 3. I'm going to drop it, and then you're going to try to catch it. Okay.
Okay.
When I say, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to try to catch it.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Oh, that's good.
Oh!
That's good. No, that's good. You're
I
fast.
dropped it, Dan.
That's good. You're very, very fast. That's good. You're very, very fast. I'm going to do it again.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay. Now, you're going to do it to me. Okay?
Okay.
But I'm going to stand over here. You're going to count to 3. Take a couple of steps back.
Okay.
A couple of steps back. That's good. Don't
Okay.
knock too much over. That's
Okay.
good. Yeah, right?
This is great.
Yep. And then you're going to count to 3 and drop it in, and I'm going to run all the way over there, and I'm going to catch it before it falls on the floor.
This is awesome. I want to buy one now.
Yeah, right? And I'll bet you $5 I can do it.
Oh my gosh! I won't take that bet. Oh my
no,
gosh!
you're not going to take the bet, but people will take that bet. So you do it.
Okay,
Go
here we
ahead.
go.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. That was great. That was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, and then you just switch it back out again.
That was wonderful. That was
And you
great.
were too. Let's keep it going for Tomas Medina. Tomas, come over here and have a seat with me. We're gonna talk a little bit, okay?
Did I go too long?
No. This is perfect. Don't worry. It was absolutely perfect. because we're going to talk for a little bit, because part of, he's very huggable. because because part of what makes your magic different is that you've got a great sense of humor, and you don't mind getting into these weird situations and then telling stories about them afterwards. Like you'll take any gig.
Yes.
A gig comes up, and you'll take a gig, and then you've got this story about it. You've had some pretty weird gigs.
Yeah, I don't really try. I don't.
I think we still need those.
And the reason why is because, I don't know. It's because I think it's hard being a professional entertainer, and it's very hard to. I don't want to be that guy where I get jealous, like, why did Dan get that trick, or why did Dan get that gig and not me?
Right.
I don't ever want to think that way. I'd rather just. I like the steady check, is what I'm trying to say. So I like paying bills. I don't like being in debt. I like paying. I like driving nice cars. And I don't want to worry about what happens if I can't get a show. So what I did was I even my Fun Inc. job, even though it's magic oriented, I have sales experience. So I'm like a sales guy.
Yeah.
But I'm very lucky that I have one of the only jobs in the world where I get to see magic and sell magic. So it's all luck, and maybe I do try, but the only way I try is by showing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I actually do the gig. If someone says, "Hey, Tomas, do you want to do a show? These kids have no heads," and I'm like, "Okay," I'll do it because they should be able to see, if they can, but they should be able to see a magician too. A lot of guys, I'll go into the worst possible neighborhoods of Chicago.
Well, yeah,
and not even care.
Here's the thing. It kind of started early with you as a sort of a defense mechanism, that when you got involved in magic to begin with, you used the magic tricks to keep the kids from beating up.
Yes.
So
Yes, very good. Yeah. When I grew up all over Chicagoland, and I remember the first magic trick that I bought was the one that I bought, like an actual bought trick, was sponge balls. And because it was only $3 and that's all I had. And so when I bought it, it was just sponge balls. So I had to actually practice.
And that's the thing. That's a challenging one to start out with, like as the first trick.
I know,
because it's a sleight of hand trick.
It's a sleight of hand trick, and it's very it's really disillusioning. You just get 4 balls. And I remember when I bought them and I practiced and I showed my dad's friend.
Did you learn it from the instructions that come with it? Because they're never that
Magic
great.
instructions are usually written very poorly.
Yeah.
And I did learn it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, okay, pretend to put it in your hand. I guess, well, I know what I'm doing. What does it look like? So I showed it to my dad's friend. He was fooled.
Oh, wow.
He goes, how do you do that?
That's good.
So I knew I must have done something right.
Right.
But I think I started off as a juggling, because my dad goes, because I wanted that book, and my dad was like, well, you're never going to learn how to do this. And if I buy this for you, you better learn, or else I'm never going to buy you any type of book like that. So I learned.
Wow.
And then I got sponge balls, and then I went on the south side. There was this kid who was like, at 12 years old, when I was in 6th grade, he had like tattoos, and so he, I did a trick for him. Yo, shorty, how you do that? And I'm like, okay, to be his friend so that he wouldn't murder me. I showed him how to do the trick, and then we became friends, and he kind of looked out for me because I would teach him how to do magic tricks and stuff. So, and then my parents, we would move. I moved like a dozen times throughout Chicago, and I think I owe it to silly jokes, sense of humor, and magic tricks. As far as like, I'm really not shy. I could talk to anybody, and I think that really helped me. Magic is a good way to to meet people, and I never had a problem. I'm built like a twerp, and I've never had a problem meeting girls. In fact, other people use me to pick up girls. I've never had a problem with anything in regards to.
Well, you're from what I know about you and from what we've seen here, your writing is good.
If that's it, but I don't try. So if it is writing, I don't
is
really
it
know.
Writing? Well,
I just
maybe
tell
it just
the jokes.
comes natural to you, which is cool. That it does. Okay, so we were talking about some of the kind of unusual gigs. Let's start off sort of easy. You told me that once you were hired by a church, and to pay you, they had to set up a dunk tank because Tell me
It was
more
a
about
show
this.
that a FISM champ handed me. He was from Chicago.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, do you want to work this show? Charge him like a lot of money, like way more money than I would have charged. And I was like, all right. He told me a figure, like $600. And I was like, all right. So then I talked to these people, and then somehow they haggled, like okay, 600. He calls me back the next week. How about, can you do 400? And I'm like, fine. And then like the day before the show, he's like, can you do 350? And I was like, all right, because that's what I was going to, probably charge him in the first place. So. So I 350. Anyway, I show up, I do a good job, but the guy they didn't speak. They were from they were from another country, So the guy goes, I want you to use my wife or this person here. You have to. He picked my, which I never like to have somebody pick. You pick this as an audience member. Well, that person didn't speak English, so I'm like, how you doing? They're like, well. So then, that's the way. It's, but anyway, I finished the show, and then afterwards, there's like a big, they're scrambling for something, and I'm waiting. And, they're like, okay, we're going to pay you, but we have to set up the dunk tank. And I go, what? Like, we have to set up the dunk tank. And I'm like, did you say dunk tank? Dunk tank, yes. And I was like, why? Well, because they didn't have money to pay me. I was a fundraiser, right?
Yeah.
So they needed to make a fundraiser for the fundraiser of their fundraiser.
Right,
so I had to wait till they set up the dunk tank to dunk the pasture. Then they eventually paid. And then the guy who wrote, okay, fine, we only made $100. But I'll pay you your full amount. And then he wrote me a check, and then it said, Dr. So-and-so. The guy was a doctor! And then I took a girlfriend to that, and she goes, do all your shows go that way? And I go, yeah, pretty much.
Yep, that's it. Well, since we're on the theme, you also said that you were once booked by an agency, accidentally booked as a gospel magician. How'd that go?
See, this is because I say no to nothing, right? So these people call up, they're like, do you want to do an Easter show? And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I have stickers of Easter eggs and bunny rabbits, so I show up at this mega church, and then they're in there, and they're like, all right, what's your sermon going to be? And I go, I don't have a sermon. I mean, they hired a walk-around, magician who's, no pee-pee jokes.
Yeah, right. That's
basically what I was. This is the act, but it was going to be nice, and and it's Happy Easter and all that. And first of all, you got to learn, and I think it's my customer service friendly skills on the phone at Fun Inc. First of all, you acknowledge there's a problem, but you say, I said to them, not a problem. We can handle this.
Yes.
Told Matt, number one. So we can handle this. There's been a miscommunication on your end and my end. I was booked by this agency to just do walk-around magic. You expect me to do 4 20-minute gospel magic shows with a message. And so I'm like, we can do something here.
Yeah.
Can I do just a show? And then say Happy Easter like a lot. And they're like, no. And I'm like, can I improvise and do something? Because I grew up Catholic, which I didn't think they probably liked hearing that. But I'm like, look, we're on the same team. We like JC, But look, I'll just do 10 minutes of like, down with God talk, and then the rest will be magic. And they're like, fine, let's do that, right? So I remember years ago, I went and did a lecture in Florida, and I met this guy, a nice man, forget his name, but he's like, hey, Tomas, he's a gospel magician. He's like, hey, Tomas, want to see my bread and butter routine? And I was like, sure. He's like, let me show you. Name a card. And I'm like, Ace of Spades. And he's like, well, when you say name a card, the card that I would name would be the King of Hearts, because it reminds me of the King of my heart, our Lord and Savior, Lord Jesus Christ. And so I was like, like in the inside, I'm like, that's cheesy. So I thought to myself, well, that's the only Christian themed thing I know how to say.
Right.
So I went up on the thing and I was like, hey kids, what time of year is it? They're like, it's Easter. I'm like, do we like Easter? They're like, we like Easter. I'm like, what am I? What is my job? They're like, you're a magician. Do we like magic? Yes. I'm like, well, let me tell you about the season. Okay, because the magic of the season is totally different than the magic that I do. Want to see my silly tricks? They're like, yeah. So I do the rope trick, 5 phases, really slow. And then and then I'm like, okay, kids. Now, on the inside, I'm like, oh, here it comes. And I'm sweating. And I'm like, okay, kids, name a card. Because like, 4 hearts. I'm like, name a card. He's like, King of Diamonds. I'm like, name a card. And he's like, 6 of Spades. I'm like, it's funny, kids. It's funny you should say that, because the card that I would name is the King of Hearts, the King of my hearts. And I had my eyes closed. Our Lord and Savior, Lord Jesus Christ. Is like, and then the adults are like,
Yes.
they loved me! And so I just called the agency, and I was like, please don't do that again. And we diffused the situation, and everything was cool. But I never wanted to be one of those people. I never wanted to be, and I know some guys who go out and they do a Christian-themed magic show. And they're not even Christian. They just throw the message in as anything. They're like, oh, Tomas, it's real easy. All you got to do is just take a pencil and say, well, pencil sharpener is the church. And then you push the pencil in and you just sharpen, see? And then anything could be a message. What's the movie out this summer? It's Godzilla. Oh, God's in Godzilla. God's in the lizard. What is the king of my blockbusters? The king of my blockbusters is Godzilla. Like, they can make anything into a message, and I never wanted to do that. I said, no, I want to be I don't want to take the face painting gig. I don't want to be the juggler. I want to just do magic. If you want to just do magic, I'll do. If you want a number for a guy who does great balloons, I'll get you a guy. If you want to be a gospel magician, you should be a gospel magician. You should not go out and do what you're not. And I felt awful doing that because I'm not, even though, I'm of the same faith, I just didn't feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
And one time I got hired by a group of it was Jewish entertainers. The guy thought I was Jewish, so
that's where I was going next.
he goes to me.
This
he
is
says,
a good one.
He goes, hey, And then, we do the show, and there's all these Jewish entertainers, and then I realize these are all Jews. So I go, hey, really flattered that you asked me, but I'm not Jewish. And they're like, you're not? And I'm like, no, I'm actually. My parents are from Spain. I'm Catholic. And then he goes, well, you know what? You're so talented, they're never going to believe you're not Jewish. So I do the show, and then years later I get hired by a woman, and I do my show, and she goes, oh, so what synagogue do you go to? And I go, well, I'm not Jewish. She goes, but we saw you at the Jewish show 2 years ago. And I was like, I was Jewish for that day.
I was Jewish then. Yeah. And then, and you've worked lots of really, really strange crowds. I mean, you work a lot of burlesque shows now, and you've worked opening for rock bands, like you mentioned. But there's one show in particular that I don't know how you got through it. You were in a forest preserve, and that's all I'm saying, was that you were hired to go into the woods.
There's some gangbangers from Chicago. They're clown canceled. And so I get a call.
That's just funny to me. I don't know if that's funny to anybody else. That first they hired a clown.
I know, right?
And the clown canceled.
They're like, yo, dog, listen, our clown canceled and shit. You want to come to the Forest Preserve for the kids? And I was like, all right. So, there's their Escalade. I do my show, and they're like, yo, clown man. Like, they introduce.
Yeah.
I'm like, magic guy. And they're like, I'd like to give my son his gift now. And I'm like, all right. So this gangbanger dude, like, all of a sudden brought out this ATV, like an all-terrain vehicle for like a 5-year-old kid, and then the kid jumped on this is right in the middle of my show. And I had these kids, it was like an ADD convention. I'm trying to get these kids' attention, and then all of a sudden the kid jumps on the ATV, and then the show was over.
Show's over.
Drove off, because you can't compete with that.
Yeah, definitely not. Let's just find out about this. The time that you were asked to dress up like Spider-Man.
This was an agency called me. I get a call. The guy goes, hey, Tomas, can you do it? Now, you're going to be proud that I said no to this gig.
So you do have limits.
Well,
we're getting close to
I do when it comes to comic books. Guys like, do you want to dress up like Spider-Man and do magic tricks for kids? And I'm like, okay, so wait, do you want me to be a character and dress up? Because I don't do that. I just, no, do a magic show, but you got to dress up like Spider-Man. And I'm like, do I have to wear the mask? And he's like, yes. I'm like, I got to wear the gloves? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, but I need my jacket. And they're like, you can wear the jacket over the Spider-Man costume. I said, I am not doing that to Spider-Man. Although now that Disney bought Marvel, I probably would have taken the gig, because I'm like, forget you, Disney. Ruining. Disney owns Star Wars. They own Inspector Gadget. They own Marvel. They might as well own my parents, because they own my childhood. Is that wrong? Did you know, you want me to educate? Did you know that there used to be 50 independent, there used to be 50 media companies, like motion picture, like billboard company, newspapers, radio stations. Do you know how many companies there are now? 6. There are 6 companies that own every radio station, every movie production company, every billboard, every friggin',
television channel and
television.
And
Is that not
major,
upsetting that 6 companies, and you got these mom and pop costume stores that compete against, all of a sudden, a Spirit pops up, like in a defunct, I don't know,
we get them around
Zaire
here all
or
the time,
something,
yeah,
I don't
sure.
know. And then they pop up, right? Here's this mom and pop store that's been around in business forever. Now this Spirit comes up. You know who owns Spirit? Spirit was owned by Universal. Do you know who owned Universal? NBC. And then NBC was owned by General Electric. How do you compete with that? You can't. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is America's finished.
Or it's getting there.
Except for Fun Incorporated, which are the only magic company in the USA that manufactures stuff, and we're trying to bring back all the manufacturing back to the States.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're pushing all that stuff, Royal Magic, and
Yeah.
Penguin has been a big supporter of the line.
Especially, I think, and that's the thing. I've been over there, and I think it's great to try to bring back some of the like injection molding and some of the handmade stuff, and source that in house. Which is it's a challenge, but I think it's good to do it. Well, since we're kind of talking about larger media, I don't know the whole story behind this, but. There was a TV writer that used your name.
Oh my gosh!
Now
this was the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.
Was this a friend of yours?
Next to hooking up with the girl at the TGI Fridays, this was really good.
Was this a friend of yours that knew you?
I did a lecture in California in Hollywood. I don't even know if I should name the show.
Probably not,
because I don't want to get the guy in trouble.
Yeah.
But this guy, he's a magician, and you know this, Dan. You probably get fan mail and emails from people all around the world.
Yeah,
you've been doing this longer than I
bizarre.
have.
It comes from out of the blue somewhere.
Doesn't it make you feel good?
Yeah,
it makes you feel good.
It's
It makes
great.
you feel good that people care. The fact that this room is packed with people, it really is a little self-esteem booster for me, because I didn't really think. I thought whatever, I didn't really think people cared. But the fact that this guy who's a TV writes for TV, and it was a big show. We're talking like a big show, like a show. We're not talking like UHF channel. We're talking like a real production here. And I get an email from the shop owner, and he says, he goes, hey, listen, you remember so-and-so? Yeah. Well, he writes for this show, and this show. I'm like, yeah, I know. He goes, well, he put your name in as a villain, like the killer of this show. And I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. He goes, tune in this like Tuesday. So I sit there, and I don't watch TV. As a kid, I used to watch TV all day, but then I got tired. And now I can't watch any TV. I rather just Google. I just rather go on. I rather YouTube cats is what I rather do. So I sat down, and the killer is Tomas Medina, right? So like, bring out Tomas Medina, and I'm like, oh my God, they said my name. That's so cool. And then the guy's like, what did Tomas Medina say? Oh, 2 times. Oh my God. Then I get texts from people, dude, that's so cool. I'm like, yeah, I know. And they're like, Mr. Medina, come over there. Tomas, bring Tomas over there. They said my name 60 times on this episode. And they wrote my name in, and that was the best.
That's great. Yeah.
And just to give you a hint of the show,
which show? Yeah.
The person who was on this show is one away from Kevin Bacon. So the person, that 6 degrees, 7 bacon, Kevin Bacon thing?
Yes.
So the person is one away from Kevin Bacon, and that person said my name. So that person that's one away from Kevin Bacon said my name. So I am like 2 away from Kevin Bacon!
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, all right. Let's try to bring this up. Most of the kids are gone, so we'll figure out a way to.
They did go. Where did they go?
This.
Oh, they left.
They had to leave.
It was the condom
early.
trick.
Yeah, no,
I got those kids in trouble.
Everybody loved the condom trick. It's, got a big rise out of all of us.
Oh no.
But you've what is okay? But
that was the gum trick that I didn't do.
The gum trick.
Basically, you just put the gum. I fooled a magician. I'm walking up the stairs, and I had it in my hand. I go, and I put it in my mouth, and he's like, you have a little compartment in your shoe?
You said you've got a skill with meeting people, and we had this question actually come in about whether you've got any tips on how you use magic to meet people. Do you do that, or do you just meet people?
No, you know what? I never wanted to be that guy.
Yeah.
I never wanted to go, walk up to someone and be like, hey, got any raisins? How about a date? I never wanted to use all those awesome pickup lines. I never wanted to do that. So I've learned that I wait till the word gets out that I do magic. Mm-hmm. And then they approach me. And then I let them have it. Then I let down the hammer of Thor. Your videotapes that you released on Impromptu Magic is awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
And I would learn a lot of those tricks and do those tricks for people. I like the impromptu stuff. My At the Table DVD, which was released years ago, At the Table featured a lot of that. A lot of, hey, do a trick, okay, and you could do a trick with nothing.
Right.
And I like stuff like that. So I really don't walk up to people and meet them. I'll tell you a kind of like an embarrassingly, probably the worst thing that I've ever done, but I really, whatever, it was like kind of cool. A friend of mine and we produced a magic video for some guy. Now, this is before I got hired at Fun Inc. It was this guy who was like the president of money. And so he owned like this production. He gave us money to basically make a How to Pick Up Women with Magic DVD. And it was called Magic Makes Girls Hot, is what it was called. And it was a combination of Girls Gone Wild and instructional videos, right, on how to do this. So we didn't have anything. He gave us this money. We bought a camera. We bought an editing equipment. I walked up, and this is where I really used my magic powers for evil, to pick up girls, because I needed to do this production. So I walked up to these girls, and I was like, hey, do you have a job? And these girls were like, no. And I would go to karaoke bars, incidentally. And, and I'd say, hey, would you like to be in you don't have to do anything dirty, but just would you like to be in this video? We'll pay you $75, whatever. And out of the 20 women that I asked, how many do you think said yes, Dan?
I think nearly all of them. I'm going to say 17.
20 said
20,
yes
20.
To showing goodies and everything.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
could you believe this? But then again,
Wow.
I booked the hotel for these girls. We show magic tricks. How many of them do you think showed up? Not one of them, Dan.
0?
Because if they had any work ethic, they wouldn't be saying yes to dirty videos. Anyway,
right.
so
they all said yes, and then
they all
that's
said
it.
yes, and nobody showed up.
And
So I had to go to get these people. I got friends of mine, and it really wasn't that bad, But we produced it, and it was just really poorly made. And we tried to sell them to distribution companies of dirty movies, and they gave us they were going to give us $2 a piece for these things, and we made like 3,000 of them. And so I wouldn't pay back. There's no way I would have been able to pay back the guy. It was a wash. I wound up getting hired by Fun Inc. Have you ever tried to destroy a DVD by hand? It's hard work. I had to destroy thousands of these things by hand. And it really wasn't my production. It was my friend who produced the video. But yet my face was all over the thing. Sure. So, of course, they're going to go to me.
Right.
But it was another magician friend of mine who helped me out. And we kind of squashed that. We threw it under the rug. And that was the only time I've ever actually used my magic tricks to meet women.
It sounds like it would not have gone so well.
You know what? It was actually
released.
kind of entertaining. It was
Was
really,
it?
I picture my personality
Well, yeah, it
with
would work, but
with
it's like-
shameless flirting.
Yeah.
And people complimented, because the girls, and I mean this in a customer service friendly way, but they kind of looked like they were running the 50-yard dash in a 40-yard gym.
Yeah.
The girls, if you know what I'm talking about. They weren't because they weren't, they just, the last minute, would you like to? And they're like, okay. And then they were on the, So they complained of the quality of the girls, but they liked the tricks. They thought I did a good job.
So tell us about the.
And the best part, I didn't have to pay.
You got to. He didn't care.
The guys thought bravo, and he didn't.
Yeah.
I gave him back whatever money I made, and he says, I'm impressed that you did all this. This is very
Yeah,
entertaining.
you tried anyway. Yeah. Tell us about the girl with the rats. And how are you gonna describe? Anyway, go on.
Well,
I
the
might
girl
help you.
comes up to me after the show, and she's like, "You want to come into my place?" And I'm like, "All right." That's usually my answer to everything. Okay. So I go over to her place, and she goes, "Oh, by the way, I have weird pets." And then she opens up the door, and there's 5 rats. She's got 5 pet rats, which I didn't know this, but according to her, rats made great pets, and they're like dogs. You ever see Ace Ventura, where all the animals are crawling up on him? It's like, oh, and that was the rats greeted her, and she was petting the rats, and then I got the rat bit me.
On a part of your anatomy.
A part of my anatomy. Maybe it smelled cheese. I don't know, but.
Did you ever explain the missing finger? Because you just did it as a gag. It's just that people keep writing
Really?
in about it.
Okay.
I mean.
This is Mary Yedid.
Yeah, it's Mary Edit.
Who's a great man. And he's one of the. I talked to him on the phone at Fun Inc. I don't know if he was a fan of my Geek Magic release, because if you see on his website, it said his description of Geek Magic is like, Tomas Medina is this disgusting thing. But I could see how the DVD is pretty shocking, because in one part is where people spit in a cup,
Yeah.
And then
that was really gross. Even though I know what's going on, but
I switch
yeah.
out the spit. I
Yeah.
switch for like something that isn't spit that tastes good.
Yeah.
And so I have strangers spit in the cup, and then I drink their spit, and that was it. And I could see how that kind of is outside the box, and people who Mayor classic magician probably frown on that. But yeah, basically it's his routine. I don't know. Can you get a close up from here?
Yep.
Okay, so you do this, and then you do that, and then there's that one, and there's that one.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. That look good?
That looked great.
And then you can. Okay, so basically, what you got to do: break your fingers. No, it's you bend them up like that, and it's all angles. Because if I were to do this, you'll see it. So you just bend it like that. Okay, you can even get it good where it looks like it's really.
That's
on.
it. Nailed it.
There you go. Now this one looks good. You just fold it back. It's again folded here. Now if you like that, you can see it. But if you do it that way, it looks okay. This one's a harder one. So you got to get the right angles, and it looks like it's gone, right? And then the top one is just like the pinky. You just instead of tilting down, you tilt up, and it's gone. And then you can do the thumb. Woo. And this is the real work right there. We did that one.
And afterwards, when we go,
And you had some stuff on your videos where you made
made
it
stuff. And then afterwards, when we go over to have some pizza, you've got to see our camera guy right there do his work with the finger, which is going to be released pretty soon. It hasn't been out yet, is it?
this true?
It's not. It's not out yet, but it's
Okay.
coming out. So I don't want to spill the beans on this, but he's got the work. Yeah. So
I'm intrigued.
You're gonna see that later, and everybody's gonna see it eventually. Okay. I heard this. This is a perfect one to go out on, I think, because I don't know what the ending of this one is. But I heard you starting this story about the time that you were working, and a kid had an accident in his.
Yes.
In
This
his
this could be
pants.
this could be accident in his pants. This
Yes.
could be. This could be an. It's a gross story.
It's kind of gross. But there, you know.
But, and by the way, I do a lot of shows. You know, one of the things is I do a lot of shows, and I never say no. And I will always wonder, like, you know, who, like, does Mick Jagger take every show? You know what I mean? Like, how do these, for example, like these game shows, these reality shows where people become, I would rather work my way up to the top like a rock band, like playing crappy bars, and then get there, rather than just winning a game show. Winning a game show. But I don't know. I'm just always. I take all these shows and I learn from experience. And like there's this guy. He was the lead singer for the band. The song "The Freshman." Remember that song? There's a the Verve pipe.
Yeah.
He was only freshman. Anyway, we were only freshmen. So that guy lives in Michigan, and he drove. One day, I show up at somebody's house to do their party, and they booked him for as much as I charged the girl. And remember, I don't say no to any show. And that guy drove all the way from Michigan to work in her living room for like 10 people. So that guy is the Tomas Medina of the music scene. That guy, and I was like, wow, that guy, even though he's made it on MTV, he's still working all these little events. But and you learn from every experience. Now I know what goes on, you know, when something happens, and I know I'm very confident that if someone were to hire me, I know that I'll do a good job. And even if I mess up, you know, on something, I know that I'll be good, you know.
Or if something.
Or if someone craps their pants.
That's right. And
I'll know how to.
Because this is the thing I don't know. You had that happen. This kid.
If a kid fires a deuce in his pants,
Yeah.
When you bring him up on stage, and it's the birthday kid,
And he's up on stage.
and he's up on stage, how do you handle this
What do you do?
situation? This is what you do.
Okay.
Now, it may not work if you're in a theater, but if you're at someone's home, you say, okay, everybody go into the dining room, or everybody go into the kitchen. You pick another room, right? Everybody stands up. You go, on the count of three, everybody stand up. 1, 2, 3, they stand up. And then everybody, now the parents are like, what?
Yeah.
Now you walk up to the mom and you say, hey, little so-and-so just pooped in her pantalones. While you scramble for pants, I'll entertain the kids. So I think I went into the kitchen. I did a trick in the kitchen, and I think it was the rope trick, but I do it really slow. And then the mom gave me the thumbs up. Kid got new pants on, and then I went back, and nobody said anything about why did we go in the kitchen to do the trick until after one kid's like, why do we go into the kitchen?
Because that's where that's where that one works.
Drinks because you cried. Now,
yeah. so in a way, it's the private party version of the theater's on fire. Because I don't know, you know that story.
No.
Oh, it's a very, very famous story where Blackstone Senior got word that the theater was on fire, and he's in the middle of the show, and then so he says, for the last effect, everyone will be exiting the theater. It's too big to fit on this stage, but I'll show it to you out on the street. And he got everybody out in an organized fashion.
Genius.
Without telling them that the theater was on fire. Yeah,
wow.
so same thing, you know. Same.
That was like my thing, except someone shit their pants.
Yeah. You know, which is about as big an emergency as you can have.
When you got to go, you got to go.
You got to go. That's exactly right. And I think we do.
How long did I do? Did I break Greg Wilson's record?
No, and don't you dare. Don't anybody else attempt it. I don't even want Greg Wilson to try to attempt to break that record.
Oh, man.
Unless he does a dozen tricks an hour, that's going to be my limit for him. Got to do more magic, you know?
Oh.
Do more magic. That's what we want. We want to see magic
Well,
tricks.
hopefully I had a lot of magic for you guys. And
yes, you did. Fantastic job. Absolutely. Yeah. And keep it going for Tomas Medina. Thank you so much for supporting Live Magic. We'll see you next time.